You are now listening to Nerd Rage Radio with Bobby Skullface and Adam Russman. This podcast is intended for mature audiences only and may not fit with your sensitive sensibilities. You may be a victim of meaningless outrage, or you may, in fact, be a big ninny pants. If this is the case, please feel free to turn it off now. This is no country for ninny McNinny pants. So crack open the Mountain Dew. Make sure the cheese doodles are super fresh. We're in your mother's basement. It's Nerd Rage Radio.
And welcome to episode 183 of Nerd Rage Radio. We are dolphinless today.
Yeah, I know.
So to my right is Mr. Bobby Skullface.
There are an endangered species.
They are. Okay. To my left is Mr. Chris Pinkerton.
If you're nasty.
That's right. And I'm Adam Russman. And you know what, man? I was kind of upset that we weren't recording yesterday. Because I was on my way.
Yeah, you were in the zone.
I was in the zone. I was feeling good like Nina Simone. And I was like, all right, man, cool. I don't have much to talk about, but I just feel like getting into the mode.
Into the shits?
And so, like, I called Bobby up, and I was like, hey, man, what's going on? He's like, oh, man, I'm fucking editing the shit out of this video. And in my head is like, I should just pop by. But he's working. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden, Bobby.
Oh, I would have worked something out.
I know you would have.
I would have worked something out.
Yeah, but
it's always a pleasure.
You sounded stressed out.
That fucking video, that Overlord video was, when I brought it into the computer, it was an hour long.
Holy shit.
And the video is 27 minutes.
So that's like 4 hours. 4 hours of editing at least.
Yeah.
At least.
It was, I think it was the total time of it from the beginning to end was 7 hours.
Yeah. And, you know, that's for 10 cents worth of views.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more than that, people.
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's
doing all right.
but
I'm
it's
doing all right
you know,
these days.
yeah, 12
cents.
cents. 12 cents. There's a day, bro. There's a day. YouTube's heyday. Been an interesting week for me, unrelated to nerd stuff, which I can't really go into, but it's funny as fuck. I told you offline. Mm-hmm. Dude, people are fucking morons, man. You know what I've noticed?
Tell me.
You know those guys that you literally can't tell anything. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you start talking about whatever, they'll just like complete your sentence with like, "Oh, well, actually, it's the
Actually,
yeah." You know the people I'm talking about.
Yeah. Dude, I can't stand it. Actually,
yeah.
I every time Jaina says it, I say, "And what does actually make me want to do?" And she says, "Smack me in the face."
Too much.
I mean, I've never put my hands on her, but she knows that, like just because
I'll kick this shit.
No. Yeah.
But I'll shake the shit out of her.
No. I'll roundhouse that.
Backhoe kick.
Backhoe kick the shit out of her. That's a callback joke.
Say, hey, get down or lay down.
Anyway, but those people I find have the least amount of common sense. And given the proper opportunity, will do the most boneheaded, dumbass shit imaginable.
And have you ever noticed that sometimes there's people with that mentality are in positions of authority, and you wonder, how did this happen?
It's funny you said that, because that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I kind of figured that
exactly. That
might be something you were talking about.
Oh, it's so funny, man. So funny. But I had a good day today thus far. I got a project that I'm working on.
Yeah, you got good energy today.
Got good energy. A buddy of mine, it's actually a good story. Like, we were colleagues, and he was my boss. We hated each other. Then he wasn't my boss. Then he was my boss again. We kind of mended fences. And now we're, yeah.
I'm not your boss.
And then you were lovers.
I'm not your boss anymore.
We were lovers for a little bit. Okay. He's a bit of a silver fox, so there's that. But no, I hadn't seen him for a while, and he actually helped me transfer to a new section, and I ended up getting promoted. And it was kind of, and like, not for nothing, man. Before I came back to him, I fought it tooth and nail, and like, I put some stuff out on Front Street. I was like, I don't want to go back to work for this guy, XYZ, here are the reasons. And I put it on paper. I was like, no, I'm not, this guy's done some bad stuff. And actually he came to me, he's like, listen, you're right. I was fucked up. I was hitting the bottle. I've gotten help.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive that someone's willing to come out and say that.
And like, at first I was like, I don't care. I don't fucking trust you. But like, he earned my trust, earned my respect. We patched everything up. And
nice.
So it was good. It was cool, man. I will say one thing. If you fuck up with me, right, and you own that fuck up, and you come back, and you're like, I'm a better person for it. I've got more respect for you than somebody who's never fucked up at all, because that person's just lucky. You know what I mean? And they've never been tested. You know, and it is a very few and far between. I can't say it right. Between trait. Betwixt. But it does happen, and when it does, it's impressive. And I've actually got 2 other situations right now where somebody who's in trouble right now is not going to own it. I can tell. And then somebody who did something similar is totally going to own it, and he's going to be better for it around the corner once he gets through it. So there's that. But
I got some getting better news this week myself.
Really?
I do.
Have a meeting with the mother-in-law?
No. I'm letting that ship sail. She did. She did ask to take my kids to vacation this week or this year again
on Father's Day,
but she didn't plan it on Father's Day.
Oh, so look at that!
There's a little bit of progress. There's a little bit of growth.
We call that progress.
Yeah.
So is this leaving Bobby home alone again?
No.
Because I'm going to tell you something. Bobby Home Alone is wild as fuck. You're like a fucking kid that gets locked in a goddamn toy store. I think sometimes.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's like you told me. You're like I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
'cause nobody's around.
Yeah. I think that I get a little bit of you ever have those moments where you're like, oh my god, I could do this and 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 this
and then you do nothing.
And then you do nothing.
Yep.
That's what I get like.
Yep. You get a little case of the blues sometimes when I'm talking to you.
When you're talking to me?
When you're like home alone, you got nothing going on.
When I'm alone.
That's what. That's what I was.
You know, like that's my biggest. You know, like the more time I spend with me, the less happy.
Well,
I
the
am.
image of a kid in the toy store by themselves is not.
Maybe not a toy store. Maybe like a
department store.
Maybe the like Well,
the lights are out and it gets kind of spooky. Yeah. Okay, I'll take that. I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
If you think about it in the sense of a kid in the toy store left alone with no money, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just jumping in my nerve because I've been talking already.
Yeah. That's what you were doing.
Yeah, I know. I just got excited. I just do.
So excited.
I haven't really watched any more shows. I'm working on this documentary. It's called like Beyond the Curve or Behind the Curve or Above the Curve. It's about flat earthers.
Oh, really?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It was riveting. I had to stop.
Riveting.
I had to stop though because I had to go to bed. I was like, I can't. I'm so tired right now. But it was key. Like normally, if I turn something on to go to bed, like within 3 minutes, I'm out.
My main
I had to
issue.
consciously turn this off.
My main issue with a lot of the flat Earth arguments is when I sit and listen to them, I just don't find them to be very well rounded.
Well, you know, I was about to say I would probably put that in my queue, but I don't know if I'd get around to it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The bell curve on the intelligence of those people is somewhat questionable.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
At least in a roundabout way.
Yeah. But you know, listen to those and around the corner.
Yeah.
You know, they're usually decent people.
No,
you know?
of course.
Yeah. But it was a downward slope of watching this film. Anyway, I haven't finished it yet. I'll report to you how well rounded of a documentary it is.
How long is
when
this
I'm
that you
done.
haven't finished it? I'm curious.
I mean, it's like a full movie. It's like 2 hours.
Okay.
Well, they've always got their signs and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, everywhere I go, I see like a flat earth people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they really get around town.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm over the apex of the film though, you know? So there's that.
Sure.
So yeah. I mean it's winding down, so not a big deal.
It's just such a circular argument. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But would you recommend the documentary so far?
I give it a spin.
Oh man. That's good shit, guys.
Other than that, I have sold 90% of my Warhammer 40K stuff. That's not my Space Wolves, my 40K Space Wolves, which is a huge amount of models. So almost, I could probably clear out one whole case that's 6 foot by 4 foot, 5 shelf, fucking 20-inch deep case.
Weird flex, but okay.
Weird, yeah. There it is. And now I've started to sell some stuff that's like new in box that I've been keeping for years, like limited editions.
How's the return on it?
How do you feel,
dude? I feel fucking free. I do, man. It feels great. Because like I do feel bad because I do feel like I let Joe down a little bit with not getting his stuff done as fast as I wanted to. And part of the reason is I move my paint area 30 fucking times a month to try to get like the feng shui right. but there's so much shit to do. It's like I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, and you get nothing done. Yeah, it's fucking stressful, man.
Are you still locked out of the guest room, for lack of a better term?
No. It's, Alex has moved out. It's like a.
But you were talking about giving it to someone else. Or
I was.
Still
well, my brother was going to move in
because I really liked it when it was a painting room. Like
I did too.
It did have there was like a creative energy in there, with like the sliding glass door, and you could see outside. And
yeah,
it's kind of tucked away.
It's
in
not
a
bad,
nook.
and we might go back to pushing it around. I don't know. What the fuck? Oh, this is this chick that I wanted to buy some artwork from.
Well, that could have gone several directions.
Yeah. Anyway, but so,
and I like the lounge too. Like I like that.
Yeah. So the lounge is actually in the other area, which is it actually would be perfect for podcasting now because it's nice. It's nice and tight. Like you can get a camera shot in with both couches, like face to face. So I'm actually thinking about eventually, like when we get new mics and I can bring these mics back, figuring out something to hook it back up
and rock some 30K,
dude. I want to do it, man, but it's just it's difficult, man. It's difficult getting people coordinated.
And you gotta have some Skype action.
Yeah. But anyway, so I've been selling shit on Facebook, dude, and I gotta give mad props. This dude, like, so I had this one item that's super rare. It's usually going for like $200 bucks, $250, sometimes $300. And I was like, listen, man, I want $150 for it. Mm-hmm. It was reasonable. I'm making a little bit of profit on it, but like nothing crazy. I had two of them and one already built and painted. So I had fucking ridiculous extras. Mm-hmm. So a guy hit me up. He's like, hey man, yeah, I'll take it. Do you have anything else from this genre? I was like, no, like this, it was like this terrain set. I was like, no. But I got some other stuff, and so I took down, must have had 50 pictures, like literally 50 pictures of all this other shit that I had. He's like, dude, how much for that limited edition shit that you can only buy in England, And I was like, dude, I'll give you two for another, 150, right? So he's like $300 shipped. I was like, yeah, man, I'll do that. He's like, how do you want me to pay? PayPal, friends and family? I was like, listen, man, I'll accept, goods and services, but if you want to pay me friends and family, and not pay the fee, that'd be great, but I'm not expecting that. Motherfucker, pay me friends and family.
Can you show Bobby how that works?
Did I hook you up last time?
No, I'm messing with you.
Yeah. And if I know somebody, you're gonna get friends and family from me. You know what I mean? I'd like Alfred, shout out to Alfred, I'm gonna throw you on the bus. That motherfucker did a fucking goods and services one time, and what it was for goods and services. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. I didn't know. No, you knew. You're just being a twat. Anyway,
yikes.
No, I love Alfred. I'm just giving him a hard time. And so I was kind of touched by that. I hit him up. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, listen, do you want a video chat right now so I can show you that I'm packing this motherfucker in a box and everything? I just shipped it before I got here. So that was actually kind of cool. And I wish that we could all do that and fuck PayPal over the fee. You know what I mean? Because they don't need any more money. They're fine.
Yeah.
No, but it's difficult, especially when you don't know. So I sold majority of that stuff. Some other stuff cleared out. This feels good, man. Little Marie Kondo. Doesn't spark joy. Get it out of here, man. Mm-hmm. Get it out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So next thing I'll do is be buying a condo and moving out of my big house.
Buying a condo.
Yeah.
Maria condo.
There you go. And I want to say that's it. I'm still reading fucking White Knight, which is good. It's not that
I finished it as well.
Yeah, no. It's not that I don't like it, but if it was not an Elseworld book, I would completely hate it. Mm-hmm. I would completely hate it. There's this aspect of it that Jack Napier is kind of a victim to the Joker consciousness, almost like the Joker entity, and he's taking this medication, and like it suppresses the Joker or whatever. And I haven't finished it yet, so maybe this will change. I'm waiting.
There's an element to the medication that I'm in love with, but it happens in the end, so I don't want to.
So my guess is that this is all a con by Joker, that he knew this medication would do this temporarily, and that's kind of the joke of it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like what my guess would be. Mm-hmm. Like he knew what he was doing, and it's all a fucking big scam.
I'm hiding my face to not reveal any.
Yeah. Reaction. So if that's the case, I kind of like it. That's a very Joker thing to do, and I'm good with that. But if it's not that, and it's just a fucking, like he's a victim of the insanity, I don't fucks with that. That I don't fucks with. And I think I listened to a couple good podcasts here recently. Fucking Dr. Phil, bro.
Dude, I told you.
He was on Joe Rogan, and I want to.
Wait a minute. When was he on Joe Rogan?
Yesterday.
Fuck, I didn't update for me. I actually listened to a Joe Rogan today. But.
So
Waiting
he's on
for that Kanye, man. Where's the Kanye?
Yeah, I think Conway Twitty. Conway Twitty's going to back out because he's dead. He's no longer alive. He's not going to be. Correct. He's not going to be on Joe Rogan.
I once went to Twitty City, which was Conway Twitty's Nashville-based Christmas town kind of place.
Really, was it awesome?
I remember it fondly as a child.
I want to go to Twittyville.
It was Twitty City.
That doesn't sound good.
I thought it was Titty City.
I've been there.
I have too.
Yeah.
Brian Brink is the mayor of.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
I did tell you about going to the strip joint a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. That's about it, man. That's all I got. Questions, concerns, comments, bitches, gripes, or complaints?
No. So I watched the documentary as well.
Really?
That was fucking fascinating.
Was it as well-rounded as mine?
No.
Oh my God! It took me a minute, but there it was.
Mine was. It had all of the components that I like to see in a documentary.
Yeah.
Religion. Mm-hmm. Culty religion.
Really? So a whole like a 360 of topics.
Sex.
Okay.
Fucked up families.
Mm-mm.
Wait a minute. Was this the R. Kelly documentary?
That's so. I had a punchline in there, and I'm going to save it. It's called "Abducted in Plain Sight."
I have heard that is a haunting show.
Right.
Is it
It's a documentary.
It's like a series, isn't
No.
it?
What's it about?
Is it just okay?
Mm-hmm. It's about this family. Their neighbor falls in love with their daughter.
Okay.
Is very good friends with the family, so it's like it's like a extended part of the family, like a second father, if you will. Falls in love with the daughter, abducts her, marries her in Mexico.
Is she down for all this, or is this forced?
Well,
upon
she's
her?
12.
Oh Jesus!
So she is down for it because he drugged her, and when she woke up, a tape recorder was playing that the space creatures Zeta and Xanax declared that she should marry the chosen one because her father is not her father. Her father is an alien, and the only way to create the chosen one to save humanity is to breed with the other chosen one, who is also sleeping next to her, which is this neighbor that set up the whole thing.
How old is he?
Grown as fuck. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like full blown adult. So like all sorts of full blown. Like. All
right, so. He
Does
orchestrated.
It really matter? I mean,
I don't know. I'm not trying to wrap my head around this. All right, it's got my head spinning.
Is it going round and round?
Yeah, round. Yeah. All right. So she thinks that she's been abducted by aliens.
No. She thinks that
aliens are communicating with her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they may have abducted her, but she's no longer on a foreign planet. She's back on Earth, and they've placed her with the other chosen one so that they can have the baby and have the ultimate chosen one.
Oh, the ultimate chosen one. Mm-hmm. So, like, she just listens to this, climbs on top, and gets the business?
I mean, not straight away, but it does get there. Long story short, I don't want to ruin it, but they end up back in the States. She ends up back with the family, and he fucking abducts her again. Like, he abducts her twice.
How old is she at this point?
I think when she's abducted the second time, she's 15. Like, it's fucking...
He's committed.
Yeah, for sure. It's fucking nuts, dude.
That's crazy. So does the family allow him to come back?
No, but like, dude, he ends up fucking the mom. He fucked the
what?
Yeah, he fucked the mom. He he got at least a hand job from the dad. Like, dude,
are you serious?
It's wild.
Where do these?
I want to stop this right now and watch this.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
What's it called?
Abducted in Plain Sight.
It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit!
Leave it to me to find the fucked up one.
Dude, how do you do this?
It's
your superpower.
It's a superpower.
I mean, I've seen that.
In the same breath, you'll complain about nothing to watch on Netflix.
Well, look how long it takes me to find something. When's the last time I brought something up?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I've just been scrolling ever since that last moment. Let's see what else. I went out Saturday night. Whoa.
We were not done there. I was thinking so for the coffee. So does the guy end up in jail or anything?
He does a few stints in jail, and you find out that prior to even meeting the family, he had served a year in jail for similar shit. I want you to watch it, so I don't want to spoil everything about it, but it's more twisted than any abduction story I've ever heard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Continue. I just remembered. I just got a message, and I remembered something.
Go ahead.
It's an alibi. Finish your statement, though.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I found a Grail that I went and picked up. So way back when, there used to be a resin cast piece of terrain from Forge World that was released in some of the DW stores. It's like a little cathedral with stained glass windows and shit like that. Very rare felt bottom, very nice little display piece. I mean, today's standards is kind of trash, but I've always wanted one. And like back in the day, like brand new was like $150. And if you can find them on eBay, they're like $300, $400.
So it's doubled in value.
It has. It's an investment. Got it for $50.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Was it off Facebook Marketplace?
Fucking Facebook Marketplace, bro. It is the fucking truth and the light. We loves it.
So I went out Saturday night with Laura.
Yeah.
And we went to Columbia Mall and walked around, did a bit of shopping, and I didn't really get anything. I think I got 2 hats. And
What kind of hats? They have brims?
Like fisherman hats. Like
okay.
Bucket hats.
I like a good. I think a bald headed man needs a bucket hat.
Yeah, I think needs is the right word. It's a matter of necessity, really.
Yeah, I've probably got 5 or 6 different ones.
Yeah, so I wanted one with a shorter brim, and I got one. But so the other aspect of that is that we went looking for sneakers for me because I was going to.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yep. So I'd been kind of browsing them. So I tried on a pair of Air Max that I really liked.
Do you remember which ones they were?
90s, Air Max 90s, something.
Well, they had a new pair every year, so
Okay.
it narrows it down to 10.
Well, I think it's like a series. Air Max 90s, because like a whole bunch of different ones popped up.
Like the 95
there's-
Air Maxes.
well,
No, but they're not those, though.
There's the Air Max 1, there's the Air Max 90, there's the 95 and the 97, and the Tuned to Air would probably be the ones that you'd find at retail.
Well, you're far more knowledgeable about it than I, for sure.
It's sad.
At any rate, I was really excited about it because it's the first sneaker that I really looked at and liked that I was excited about.
Okay.
I don't think I can do it.
Comfort-wise?
Well, look-wise, really.
I'm very interested to see what this was. Can you find a picture?
I'm sure I can.
Okay.
At one point, so I put them on, and they weren't the ones I wanted, but I was like, fuck, if I find the right size, I can just order them offline.
Right.
So I put them on. I think my foot's too wide for these fucking shoes, man.
It's possible.
I stood up, and it felt like a water balloon on top of a cracker. I was like,
Well, I mean, you do have size 7 extra triple wide feet. Your feet are little squares.
yeah, I have 12 triple wide.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get into like a mainstream shoe, I don't think.
Yeah, so like I'm like, well, why should I even bother? Like, I'm going to be left with the fucking the resource room of shoes, and so in my head I'm like,
They haven't been Velcro.
how the fuck do you get through?
You me?
Yeah,
So I wear a 14.
but you don't wear a wide shoe.
I don't.
How you got little narrow feet on that big old body of yours?
I think once you go
Well-
to 14, it's already wide.
Well, it is. So
Yeah.
I can wear a 13 wide, but it's hard to find that. So like I got a new pair of boots the other day, and I got 13. They were 13 wides, and they fit me just fine. But it's hard to find stuff, man. And even I'll buy stuff and
It was-
get it in, and it's.
Discouraging.
I mean, I can give you a couple options for shoes that have a little less structure.
have you tried to like get the shoes, find the shoes that you want, and then just go to Amazon and type in the size?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It felt like melted silly putty on a bagel.
A bagel.
It was not a good look for me.
Okay.
Which it was discouraging.
Now
because-
I know you probably had a lot of denim covering the shoe too, right?
There were some. It wasn't enough. It looked like
I just really want to see what shoes these are.
I'm sure you've seen them 1,000 times.
I know,
Like,
but there could be 1,000 things.
I'll show you. I just don't want to go through the trouble of looking it up right now. But like,
Do they have the full air bubble on the bottom?
so I would say yes, and then you'd be like, no, that's the 1/8 air bubble. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, oh, I didn't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I thought they were sharp looking, and I was really into them, and I was very discouraged when I saw how they looked on my foot, which was disastrous. And I finished reading White Knight, and I enjoyed it an awful lot. And I love the twist of it.
Okay. Spoilers.
Hang on, for that story?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to read it. I'll step out if you guys want to talk about it.
Earmuffs.
Oh, jeez, okay. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if the people want to be spoiled either, but
That'd be fine. I can read it. Did you interpret that when Batman got caught, he did it on purpose, and that he was in control of the situation at all times?
not immensely, but I kind of always feel like he's like everything that happens to him is kind of somewhat on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
but back in my head, that's always a possibility with him.
Okay. I wanted to know your interpretation of it because I went back. I read it, and there's comments made when he was about to leave, right? And then I went back and like read it again, and there is times like, oh shit, he is like he knows what's going on because there's a comment he makes during the chase, like where's Gordon? You know, like and he, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting.
So then I read Prince Charming. I think it's called Prince Charming. It might just be called Charming. It's another Batman book, and it's fucking awesome.
Okay,
it's a self-contained one shot. It's like 2 issues.
Is this an Elseworld or it could be in the regular canon?
I think it's Elseworld. I'm pretty sure. It's like it's like some Italian guy's interpretation of all of it. And Joker's design is kind of similar to Hakim.
Really?
Yeah.
Disheveled.
Yeah, but I mean, the eye makeup, like the whole thing, it's like a diamond on his eye. It's
like the old school clown.
It's it's very reminiscent, and it's
how old is it?
I think it's relatively new. Raul got it for me. Like,
sweet.
Yeah, and Raul is like a soothsayer or some sort of spiritual advisor when it comes to comics. Like he like puts his hand on your forehead, and then he just hands you 4 books, and you love all 4 of them.
Yeah. I'm reading I forgot I was reading the Supergirl one that he gave me. Mm-hmm. Dude, let me just say this one part.
Okay.
She's a fucking pimple.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, fuck. And she's like popping in. And then all of a sudden, the entire bathroom's covered in like green slime.
Oh, God.
I was like, but I'm thinking like, dude, think about it. Fucking super pimples.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
do you think she's a squirter?
Oh my God.
Jesus. So I read this, I read the Charming book, and I will say this, like I enjoyed it an awful lot. They introduced this new character that's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Joker has like this group of goons, and he like exterminates.
Motley Crue, maybe?
He exterminates like 99%. And there's like this one little guy left, and he's like this short little like little fella, like a little person, and his name is Archie. And he's like, he puts his gun to Archie, and he's like, and the last and now for the last one. And Archie's like, yeah, go ahead, get it over with. Life sucks. It's all trash. I don't give a fuck. Da-da-da. And he's like, oh, God, I like you. I'm keeping you around. So he keeps Archie around, but he always calls him like half pint and small fry and all this shit. And every time he does it, he's like, it's Archie, boss. Like, it's, you know, like, but he's a cool little character.
So to speak.
You can't help yourself.
I got a question.
You can't help yourself.
I got a question about reading comics. When you read Batman, who's
Animated series.
You put a voice on it?
Animated series.
Okay. What about
Same
you?
with Joker.
No, I don't do that.
You don't put you just internalize
It's
it?
all him.
Yeah, I
I
don't hear a voice.
Is it you doing Batman?
No, I don't hear a voice at all.
Oh, the Joker.
No voices.
No voices.
No inflection.
I've always read that.
Yeah.
That's funny because when you read it, you do a voice.
Do I?
Mm-hmm. Like when you have been like in the few, you know, it was years ago now, but like when you would be like, look, you got to check out this book, and you would like show me a panel or 2 from it. You have a Batman voice, and then you and then you
I don't think I do.
and then you have a Joker voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1000%.
Yeah. Fabrications.
The
I can't read out loud anyway. These are all lies.
No, you can read out loud. You can't write in silence.
What about that? What about that? Yeah, what about that kid in school that like when it was all right, read chapter 7, and they're like, John went to the bitch. Shut the fuck up. Read to yourself. Did you guys ever have those kids in your class?
That was me.
We had, you know what? It was the worst whenever they asked that one kid to read out loud. You know, and everybody's like, oh, especially if it's like a substitute teacher or something. You'd be like, oh man, not Corey.
I got in trouble. I got pulled.
My man would be like,
yep. Oh my God.
Great was the morning when Miss. You're like, oh no, not Corey. Somebody help Corey.
Corey, think about it before you say it. Think about the words.
In the 4th grade, I got pulled out into the hallway by the teacher because there was a kid that was struggling with words, and I would say the word he couldn't say. Like it was like some small group reading exercise. But I got, you can't do that to Mark. He's trying. Don't embarrass
We don't
him.
use real names here.
Well, I don't remember Mark's last name, and he lived in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Where you're from?
Ago. No, where I lived for a short time. But thank you.
Where you're from. Oh, I did hear some exciting news about Southerners potentially moving to Maryland. But I'll talk to you about it. Just remind me.
Oh, you got to pause it. You can't leave me hanging. Right. Oh, and also, there's something else I want to ask you. So go ahead and pause it.
So anyway, let me get back to this charming book. So Archie's fucking awesome. The way that this guy writes Harley Quinn, it's literally like hearing the animated character. Like he writes her the best since Paul Dini. Like it's so spot on.
Who is the author?
Some Italian.
Maybe
guy.
it's the letterer that does it.
Like
the letterer.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Is it the shape of the bubble?
No. It's the dialogue, but
Erotic shape.
It's very it's a very good book. And it's very good indeed.
Would Harley be the best DC bang?
I'd probably take
really
Catwoman.
It depends on the Harley too. You know, like
the best one. Let's narrow it down.
I don't know. I think Catwoman would be my go-to.
But I mean, it'd be your no. I'm saying it'd be your go-to for
in terms of like I think that she probably is very confident in what she's doing.
But Poison Ivy would probably be such a weird experience. You wouldn't want to pass that up. What's that
No,
vine?
no.
Oh, it's going where? Okay.
A little leaf tickling your balls.
Yeah, man.
So I also
What about Wonder Woman?
I had a horrible joke. I
read
I can't say it.
I'm halfway through a little self-help book.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, it's called Mind Works. It's by Gary Van Wammer.
Gary. Okay.
Wait, Gary who?
Van Wammerdam or some shit like that.
I think I know who that person is. It's not Van Wammerdam,
but it's something like it's very similar.
It's like
so. What's the premise?
Wojciech or something.
What's the premise of the book?
It's just talking about changing beliefs and how hard it is to change a belief structure and a belief bubble, and then what your belief bubble is built off of, and how you have these elements to your psyche that should work in unison but rarely do. But none of them are really you.
Yeah, talk about like your self narrative and everything.
It's like elements of you. So there's like what he talks about. I mean, I'm no expert. I'm just reading the book and I'm halfway through it. But there's like the hidden self, which is like this part of you that you're like your biggest insecurities, your biggest whatever that you hide from the world. And then there's the false self, which is what you project. Or try to project to others. And then there's the judge that takes every situation that you encounter and balances like what you did right or wrong in regard to hiding the one and
propagating the other.
Correct. So and then how like it ends up becoming kind of a snake eating itself in a way where like let's say one of my biggest insecurities was that I had this orange vape, right? It's my biggest insecurity.
Oh,
in the
you'd be
world.
fucked.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep it hidden all the time.
All right, Brad.
So yeah. So
cloud of lies.
I feel like Todd rolls with an orange one as well. So I one day I bring it out and I leave it on the table, right? And the truth of the matter is that you don't care and you don't care, but it's not what I want to show you. It's not what the false self wants to show you. So I've kept it hidden. And now you crack a joke about it. So now I interpret that joke and my judge says, see, we should have never shown it.
Yeah.
To the hidden self,
yeah.
Like you fucked up again.
Yeah.
Now the hidden self's belief in the problems of this vape is are magnified.
Yeah. Validated as well.
Yeah. So, and sometimes we're not even looking at it completely objectively. He talks about like, and I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole.
No, I like it. Keep it going, man.
But he talks about like the atheist and the believer sitting across from the table, and they're having a discussion on whether or not God exists, and the believer says, well, it's obvious, it's everywhere. And the atheist says, no. For instance, I was just on a hike recently and I got lost. And for the first time ever in my life, I got down on my knees and I prayed to God that I would get help. And these, like half hour later, these 3 hikers came along and helped me. And the believer says, well, there's your fucking sign, you idiot. And he's like, no, there's your sign that it's not the case, that it was humans that just happened to be coming along. And both of them are using that same experience to, fortify their own beliefs, but neither one of them are really looking at it objectively in terms of facts and then weighing the facts in regards to what they're doing. They're just using it in regards to their own belief structure. So he talks about like trying to boil down your belief structure to what it is. Like you might think like, I can't draw, but that's not really it. That's something else that's built around the bubble that's fortifying once again like the bubble. So the maybe inside the bubble is I'm just not good, and that's the real problem. But in order to get to that, you have to start changing. And like he said to like start talking about it to people and trusted people, whatever. Like and if you talk about yourself in past tense or things that you think may have played a part, to talk about it in third person or use him instead of you, because that's like one of those perspective changes that begins to shift your mind state.
Step outside of yourself
as to what you, because like who I was at 15 is not who I am,
right? But it helped create who you are.
Correct, but that's who I was. So when I say like when I was 15, you said something to me and such, but like you didn't hurt me, you hurt him, and this is the evolution of him, and there's elements of that are tied up. But I'm not the same person that you hurt, or I'm just using that as an example. But so I talked about it a little bit with Laura last night, and it was beneficial. It really was, and it was surprisingly easy once I got into it.
Yeah.
But at first, dude, I was like, look, I'm getting ready to do this, and I'm going to finish this glass of wine before I start, but I want you to know I feel like a fucking dickhole. Like the fucking figure 8 dickhole at the top. That's what I feel like when I'm saying.
Just a winking. But it felt good though, right?
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It was beneficial. And so anyway, I'm reading this book and I'm gonna finish it. But I came across an article he had wrote, and I was like, "Damn, I fucking like this dude." Like, it just resonated with me, and I was like, "Let me see what's going on." So like, I looked up his YouTube and stuff, and he's a little difficult to watch for me because it's just like, dude. I mean, he's such a fucking shrink, and I don't even think he is a shrink, but he's just such a like. So feel that, think about that thought.
Oh, I thought you were a Michael Jackson person for a second.
Think about that emotion. You're there. And feel that. Okay.
Stop it.
You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Stop
dude,
it.
I can't take
All
this.
right. Dude, like...
Get to the fucking point, you idiot!
Well, first off, check out Jordan Peterson. He's got some shit about that. But one thing that he says like when you said is like, you're constantly negotiating with future selves and past selves. You're remembering what happened in past selves because who you were then is not who you are now, and who you are tomorrow is not who you are now either. So it's like you're this progress of self over time. It's a crazy concept, man. It's like
that really is.
Yeah, I mean, like so the choices you make now, you're negotiating based off what you believe will happen, what we think has happened, what we're used to happening, what we want to happen, and everything. Because there could be a habit or a behavior you do now, like vaping. That your future self might be upset with you if that shit comes out as bad, or your future self might be like, dude, I'm glad I didn't smoke.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's an interesting thing when you start to look at that and like realizing that we're a fucking a process,
Yeah.
And then that changes. You're not one person. You're thousands of people, millions of people.
One of the things that he said that, which is what resonated with me, that made me like, and I don't know what it is about. Like there are certain things in my life that like not my life per se, but just certain things in the world that like I can never fucking wrap my head around. You know what I mean? This is a bad example, but if I'm like, fuck, it was Dick Grayson that got beat to death by the Joker, and Jason Todd that was the first Robin, and then you know what I mean? Like if someone were to always fuck that up. And one of the things that I'm constantly fucking up is the id, the super, or the id, the ego, and the super ego. I always fuck it up which one does which thing and all that shit. But what he was saying was, he was talking about him, and he was saying how, like, because the shrink that I went to for that little bit of time did say, like, whatever one of mine is overdeveloped, and I have one that's overdeveloped.
Probably the id.
And I have one that's super destroyed. and one of mine is like constantly stepping in. The overdeveloped one is constantly stepping in to protect the destroyed one. And what I was reading this article of his that I caught, it was talking about how like it was talking about that same people that fall into that same pocket. And he was saying how like these people will often notice it in their music choices, that they'll have an overabundance. You know, people that fall into this specific category are attracted to and are fond of an overabundance of aggressive music and confident music and braggadocious music and this and that. I was like, and they were like, and they'll also have this very passionate pocket of dark music and depressed music and such, but it will always be very small but very loved because it is speaking to that specific part that is small and does resonate with, and the other stuff is speaking to that other part that is very large and it is resonating with. And I was like, get out of my head.
Listen to Dr. Phil. He was talking about some shit how like when he was a kid, his dad was a violent alcoholic, beat the shit out of him.
He looks like somebody beat the shit out of him.
God damn.
But like he said, like, you know, one thing that happens is I forget the fucking name of it now. I would go back and listen to it. But like you have your narrative, your self story, and then when you go someplace and you compare that projection to other people. So like, you know, my parents are up screaming, yelling at each other all night long and kicking the windows out of the house. And then I get up and go to school with that stress. And I look at Jimmy, and Jimmy's all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, clean, nice dressed, and look like his mom ironed a shirt. And in my mind, I've already decided that I'm a second-class citizen compared to Jimmy just by the narrative, like my secret narrative, like the shame of stuff and the projection of what Jimmy is showing. But like, it gets fucking crazy because then it's like there is never any real communication because I'm only saying things to you that I expect you want to hear from me, and you're only saying things back to me that you expect that I want to hear from you. So we're playing this like shell game of bullshit forever. You know what I mean?
Yep. He had
it's
this,
crazy, man. And only when you get drunk and really offend people are you honest.
When I was talking to Laura about it, I was giving this example, and it was like, you know, I've shared an awful lot on these podcasts about my personal life.
Yeah.
So
it's cathartic, though, man.
So if there is something that I keep private, it is super personal.
Yeah.
But there was this experience that I had in my early 20s where I was with two other people. Let's say it was like this, and a fourth person came into the room.
Okay.
And had a conversation with just you. Walked out of the room, and then we all walk out together, the three of us remaining. But you two are a good 10 to 15 feet ahead of me. And you said something along the lines of, God damn, his watch is big as fuck. And Adam said, who, Bobby's? And you said, no, the guy that just came in here. And I've carried that around, and it wasn't my watch. You know, it was something else.
Okay.
But I've carried that around for 15, 18 years. Like, it's always been present in my mind. And I was having that conversation with Laura last night, and she was like, and I was doing the him, he, her shit. And she was like, well, you don't even know if Adam felt that way. You know what I mean? Like, he could just be saying that because you were the other person in the room for most of the time. Because it turns out that you were talking about this dude that just came in, not me at all. But Adam was like, who, Bobby? You know, and it was like, no.
Because you thought Adam had that
thought
about you.
About me.
Did you have it on a big watch, though?
Yeah, it had this big-ass watch.
Okay.
You gotta tell me the real story now.
Nah, it's something, it's a personal thing.
Okay.
And
all fair then.
Yeah, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But the point is, I've been carrying it around and just thinking about it in terms of that, thinking about it in terms of being objective. It's like I made an assumption that was your thought, but I have no real reason to believe it's your thought any more than I have to believe that it wasn't your thought and that you were asking the question for the exact same reasons. And I know this sounds very cliche, but it did feel like I fucking dropped a ton of bricks.
Nice.
You know?
It's good.
But then there's that other part of me, probably the hidden self. It's like, you know what? Call him on the phone and find out.
But that's the part you don't need to feed.
Right.
Let that motherfucker starve to death.
Well, this guy doesn't want you to feed either. He doesn't want you to feed either. This guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he wants you to just have a well-rounded view of yourself and not necessarily because none of them are truth. You know, they're all elements of you.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's all illusions.
So I've been reading it, and it's been, and I think it's been beneficial. It's been beneficial so far. I'm like I said, I'm like halfway through. But I recommend the dude. I mean, I don't recommend his YouTube channel. I did subscribe to it just because.
So is audiobook then?
It doesn't have one.
Really?
Really?
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, so I've been proper reading it, but I have been reading it digitally, which is a first for me.
Oh, really?
You know what I find the most peculiar about that is the page turning process. Like if you turn a page from the corner, it is like the corner of the page like flips up and flips over. If you do it from the middle, it comes like it's all proper.
Really?
Yeah, it fucks with me.
Is it on you got a Kindle or is it iPad?
No, I'm doing it here on my phone.
Oh, okay.
It always disappoints me when I can't find an audiobook of things. Like I was trying to find this book for sign language, couldn't find an audiobook for it.
How long did you look around?
I don't know.
I had this conversation at work recently, and like sometimes I forget that like not everybody is
Competent.
No. Is as a matter of fact, or like. So I went to some people at my work. We've been doing this mopping job for this one company forever, and we know all the people that work there, including the boss.
Is that somebody fun?
No, I don't think so. We'll check it. Hello?
Hi, it's Alexis calling from Ashley Online. I was calling to confirm a delivery.
That's right. So these people that work there, we knew them forever, including the boss. You know, and the boss was very much in touch with their parents. So his parents were always there.
Okay.
It was Clarence. Parents had a real good marriage.
Yeah.
And his mom, we saw like there was health issues there.
Yeah.
You know, we've been having this contract for years. The deterioration was visible, highly visible. And what are you guys doing, man? You guys chit chatting together or what?
Yeah.
Shit, I might have to go get the girls.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, I got to roll out a little family emergencies, but please enjoy the show. We'll be right back.
All right, so sorry about that. We're short-staffed today. But let me get back to this fucking story. So I've known these people forever. Not forever, but for a long time. Known their parents, seen the decline. So the viewing happened. So we go to the viewing. It's a respectful thing to do. So I start talking about the way that men are hugging each other as they're coming in there. Okay. Because like you could tell they all have their like go-to when it involves like there's the guy that comes in with the handshake and the half hug. There's the guy that comes in for the handshake and pulls into the hug. There's the double tapper. There's the rubber, so to speak. And then every now and then you get the tap and rub. A little tap tap, a little rub a dub, little tap tap. You know what I mean, to close it out. It's like the greatest hits of hugging. And then I was talking to them about, somebody else came up and was like, how did she die? And how's the family doing? And I was like, I think they're all right. I mean, Stevie Wonder could have saw this coming. And like everybody looked at me like it's just something I say. Like I just say it like, it was inevitable. She was the sweetest lady in the world. But it was a bit of a faux pas. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in my Nerd Week that's worth mentioning. Oh, I worked on, here's Adam. Yes, sir.
Am I live on the podcast?
You're live on the podcast. You shouldn't have said goodbye.
I know, man. Like I'm really missing out right now. It's like bugging the shit out of me.
Yeah. So I was just trying. Oh, and I started working on that orc diorama.
I need to tell you something about that orc diorama.
Talk
and I
to me.
mean no offense by this.
Okay.
So, out of context, me not knowing that world, you sent a picture of the one little hut you had built. And I think I replied,
"It's adorable.
because I thought you were helping your children with a school project."
No.
But now that I know what the context of it is,
yeah, I think it's going to turn out nice.
It's all going to be how you paint it. It's a little second edition orky, which might be what you're going for, right? I'm not, and this is constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. So it's in that vein because the orc stuff has gotten a lot darker, a lot more like kind of, you've gone from 66 Batman to the Dark Knight in the orc realm, and you're kind of on that.
Yeah, but I don't
Batman
like that.
You're kind of on that Batman on Scooby Doo.
I don't like that super mechy stuff.
I hear you. I know. I mean, it's all taste.
Yeah.
If you like it or don't like it. So.
Yeah. So I'm going for like I wanted to hit my feels. Do you know what I mean? Like I want Superman in his briefs.
Yeah, I feel you. What I actually have an old second edition orc, like the old classic space orc, which I'm gonna give to you, and you're gonna have to paint it, and he's gonna have to be on that set.
No, I don't. Dude, I don't know if there's gonna be room. It's gonna be tight.
Hey, Bobby, he's a little fella.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But like
Itsy bitsy.
we worked on that a great bit, and like we built a water tower, and we built a little shrine, 2 adobes, and a like watchtower. And I don't know, it looks good. And then we did the floor. The floor is done.
The floor looks really good.
So I'm hoping to get that in service soon, so I can just kind of move on from that, because it's not really what I want to do. It's just something that I know I can complete. Like there's an end to it. It's like zip, and it's done.
Yeah.
You know,
Just put a bow on it.
yeah.
Is it bringing back any of those 40K feels though?
I'll be honest with you, not really. Not really.
Just at this, you gotta get through this.
Yeah, you know what I don't like, man? I don't like
four player, right?
I don't like the scale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Too small?
Yeah. So neither here nor there, but I'm excited. I'm excited to do it because it's just something different. But
Well, and I know you've spoke before about how that was. You have such a strong memory of doing that, the process of building that stuff.
Right.
So, I think that's important for you to encapsulate that the way you're doing it. I think is really cool.
yeah, and I think it's appropriate, like proportions. You know what I mean? Like It's like here's this little cut off segment with my creme de la creme, and that's it.
Yep.
So we didn't talk about that. Did you kind of like go through and pick out what you believe was your best models?
Yeah, my best painted or kind of most significant characters.
Gotcha.
And yeah. Oh. Yeah, do you want to take it?
Yeah.
All right, put it on speaker.
You want to plug it? Well, we can't.
Yeah,
No, wrong.
yeah,
we
I
can't
got
plug it in.
Adam plugged in now.
Let me answer this. Yo, Jisk, you are live on Nerd Rage.
Talk about my business.
I knew it. See, I told her, I was like, don't mention it. Don't mention it.
No, man, I was busting your balls. I'm like, why didn't you tell me?
I can't hear anything. It's all muffled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, your phone hates my speakerphone for some reason. No, I was just saying I was a little butthurt that you didn't tell me, but so I was just busting your balls though.
Hey,
Because I like to give Bobby's hopes up and then crush his dream. We gotta keep the edge.
Listen, Bobby's a gentle
Champion
soul.
for
You
the
don't need to
beta
do
male,
that.
so I gotta stay on top.
right,
There you go.
right.
There you go. But yeah, man.
All right, I'll let you guys go. I was just calling just to give you shit.
Go ahead.
All right, buddy.
Go ahead and get that moving truck packed. We'll help you unpack.
Yeah, shit, dude. You guys better pray to whatever God you believe in if you want that to happen.
Yeah, I'll just find a God that's fair and go with that.
Yep, the many-faced God's gonna have to help you out.
All right, man.
See you, dude.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, man.
So yeah, I mean, we might as well. In your nerd week, sir.
Oh yeah, that was that the first dual phone
Yes, I think
moment
so. Yeah.
on Nerd Rage?
I'm still plugged in. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, man. Still hear you. Gosh, I think your self-help thing's kind of hard to follow, but I finished the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you get it done, TV wise?
I guess I did. I started watching it. I started watching it when I was in in Richmond last week. Was that last week or the week before? No, it was last week. Yeah, and I actually just finished watching it, and Kelly actually joined me for like the last. She missed like 4 episodes, but kind of caught up. It is a little like predictable. Like I figured out exactly what was going to happen before it happened, but the way they got there was pretty cool, and it leaves it wide open for more.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a bit in the notes today, but I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it soon. I want to see this Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
So Chris,
yeah,
out of 10, what do you give it compared to like, and let's compare it to like Netflix, Marvel superhero shows, to something comparable.
I don't think I can. I don't know that I can compare it because I know so much about the characters already from the Marvel universe. So I guess I have a set of expectations already. But
Okay,
I I'd probably give it an 8.5 overall. Okay. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I mean, it was a lot of good character development. It makes me want to read the fiction, so I'm probably going to try to find a decent sized trade of the comics.
Yeah, I would actually probably give it a 9.
Really?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I kind of felt it was effortless to watch and work and go through.
Yeah.
And I really like the characters, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a character I wasn't fond of on the show.
Yeah, even the villain's character was very well done.
Yeah, dude, no bullshit. Even the donut lady.
Even Agnes. Even Agnes.
Yeah.
So
and she's literally by design probably the most boring character of a TV show I've seen in a long time. By design, but that's her purpose.
And then Mary J. Blige's role in that I thought was really well done.
Yeah, man, she did a really good job.
She did.
Did they squeeze a Mary J. Blige song in there?
She sang a song in there. It wasn't. I think it was something. It wasn't anything I'd heard before, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was like kind of soulful, but it had like a metal. Yep. I was like, wait a minute, I know that voice.
Yeah, I mean the editing was a little. It was different than the Marvel stuff. Obviously, I really enjoyed the way they edited it, and the music they put with everything was really good too. I'm anxious to see what Mr. Skullface here has to say about it.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I am.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard on these series to not get spoiled because people like me and Adam in this case just powered through it. But it was an effortless watch. I mean, honestly, like. A lot of the Marvel stuff, you're like, oh, Jesus. Okay, there's 4 more episodes. Because Marvel always seems to have that one episode, the Karen Page episode.
I'll be honest with you, it's very rare that I find television that I don't find laborious to watch.
Laborious. The word of the day is laborious.
Like, I think I could probably count them on one hand.
Okay.
Like Sopranos, Oz, Game of Thrones.
Well, and I think it's the way that we consume it. Because, like, I watch a lot, and I never even really talk about it. I watch a lot of bullshit sitcoms. Like I watch The Goldbergs, I watch Modern Family, a bunch of just silly sitcom stuff. And I look forward every week to it. I watch it on Hulu, so it's the day after it comes out. I watch it the day after, and I just always enjoy watching TV. Like, I think it's the way that it's all there in front of you. It's like I feel obligated to watch this. I don't know.
I think Marvel. I think Punisher season 1 is the only Marvel show I didn't find to be work to watch.
It wasn't taxing on you at all.
It was like fuck. There's only 2 episodes left. Like what I mean. Most of the time, I'm like, okay, all right, halfway point.
Right. It sneaks up on you sometimes.
But I'm that way with. I think that's me though. I think I'm just that way. Like I don't think I'm interested generally in a 13-hour story.
Right.
I think I like a 2-hour story.
I mean, if you really think that through, it's a 10 or 13-hour story that you're getting because it's basically an hour. Like that the Umbrella Academy. Those are like 55 minutes to like an hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the stuff they cut TV style. So half hour, is 22 minutes, right? So 44 minutes for an hour. But, they're actually fleshing out whole hours like the Soprano, like HBO does.
Right.
So, you get a little more.
I think one thing that the show was kind of successful with, and I'm curious of your opinion as well, is there was definitely a mystery they were kind of laying out. You're kind of in medias res. You don't really know what's happening. They did a good job of kind of spelling what happened, but at the same time, not giving you all the goods, and at the same time, building further interesting mystery without being like too much. Like Lost would be too much. Like, for every answer you got 50 more questions.
Right.
It just got to be ridiculous. I think this was really building intrigue and building the world and making the world grander, but at the same time fleshing out important arcs on these characters.
Yeah, it did leave you, but it left you wanting more. It didn't leave you scratching your head like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is,
I can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, so I think that's a hard thing to do is to find that sweet spot between confusion and curiousness, So
yeah, I actually had a conversation with somebody at work about it too, who also loved it. Who was your favorite character, you think?
Man, that's hard to say. Probably the kid. Probably 5.
Yeah, he was good.
I like that, and I like Vanya's character too. I really like the the way that was developed.
Yeah, she was. I mean, I liked all the characters, but like Klaus, man, I'm on Team Klaus. I mean, number 5, it's a hard one. That kid, whoever that kid was, I mean, what is he, 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, I would guess so.
He did a fucking phenomenal job.
Yeah, he did a great job. He did a great job, and it was, he. Well, I won't. I can't say the next thing I was going to say because it's spoiled. He does a great job portraying who he is. I'll just say that.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that kid needs an Oscar. I think. He did a good fucking job.
Yeah.
So not necessarily an Oscar. That might be too far, but he did a good job. It's worth the watch.
For sure.
Speaking of the Oscars, our predictions. Your predictions, Adam, about the film of the year didn't come true, and our predictions of Black Panther not winning did come true.
What was my prediction for film of the year?
It was like there was some super political movie.
Vice.
Vice.
It didn't win anything, did it?
Yeah, Adam thought it was going to be Vice and then I suggested Black Klansman. And it was neither.
The Green Room?
The Green Room.
Green Room. Or Green Book. The
Green Book.
Right?
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
I'm going to watch all that shit. I just use it as like a template.
The Green Book actually looks really fucking good. That's the only movie that I wanted to see.
Really?
Because I like Viggo Mortensen and I like the dude who was Copperhead.
Did you listen to Joe Budden?
Not Copperhead. Copperhead, right?
Yeah.
Did you listen to Joe Budden when they were talking about the Oscars?
Was that Saturday?
I think it might have been the one that came out
yesterday or today.
It was.
No, I haven't listened to today's
I won't ruin it for you because I know you enjoy that. But one of them was talking about that they watched the Oscars for to exactly what you're saying, and Budden was like, "That's a trash way to find movies." He's like, "Ain't no damn good movies in there." I just thought that was funny.
His taste in movies are trash.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Let me think here. So, building stuff. I have another space hallway project that I'm getting nearly completed on. And then
is that getting tiresome?
It's getting monotonous.
Yeah.
It's not tiresome. It's just it's a little monotonous.
Starting to feel like work.
A little bit. I enjoy the weathering, the painting. Assembling it is taxing just because it's like, again. Mm-hmm. And the last one I did was different. It was a T shape instead of just a straight one. And the one I'm doing now is for a Detolf, and it's going to be. It's different. It's somewhat different. Same kind of generic. Not say generic. Same kind of concept though.
Hey Chris, did I see you like doing some kind of brickwork on Instagram?
That was JD.
That was JD doing some brickwork.
Okay.
That shit looked phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I know, man. I was like, God damn, dude. That was really good.
He puts a lot of time into every little nook and cranny. I've noticed.
I mean, it's all for himself.
Yeah.
He's taking. He takes his time, and he showed the full project there. It's a sewer.
I know JD at one point was like interested or played 40K. I got to get that guy.
Well, that's what JD needs.
Come over
more hobby.
To come over to the Beer and Bolters Club, man, and help me with some terrain because this shit looks good, man.
Yeah, I guess it just me swept under the rug now. Thanks. JD, you can have Adam. That's fine.
We gotta get into these notes. Or do you have anything else?
I listened to. I had a long couple drives this week with work. I listened to Joe Rogan and Donnell Rawlings. You know who he is? Mm-mm. I'm rich, bitch.
Oh, okay.
That was horrible.
Yeah. I saw a picture on Instagram with the two of their faces. So I figured they did a show together.
So that was a very interesting episode. He told a little bit of not a lot, but some behind the scenes of the Chappelle show, and like he never asked Dave why'd you leave. He's like, he's my friend. He's happy. I don't care. So, and and I cool. I'm intrigued by the lives of these comedians that literally, I mean, it almost parallels professional wrestling to an extent. You're literally showing up, hoping to get on stage, not even really going to get paid just to get. So somebody wants to see you again. So it's very intriguing to me to listen to these stories.
I love when Chappelle talks about like when they were like he moved to Africa and he's like, you know where I heard that news? When I was on my couch in Indiana or wherever,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had some trip planned there that he had for like years, or like months or whatever, and then he went and he did his vacay, and then he came back and they were like, he's moved to Africa, and he was like, that's weird.
Yeah. So just another thing I just wanted to mention is you were talking about kind of getting overwhelmed by what you can do. You can do everything, or you can do nothing. I'm going to do a shutdown of my Crashbox shop this weekend and basically gut it, and just there's too much going on, and it's like I go down there to work, and I don't know. I just feel like I can be a lot more efficient if I move some stuff around. So I'm gonna pull in my indentured servant and Frosted Flakes, and we're just gonna tear it completely apart.
Nice.
And I probably have tools and shit that I forgot I had.
Right.
Shoved.
Right,
You've been down there, so that's I don't know. Just been taxing my mind. So gonna really try to get some organization going.
I'll look forward to see what you do. That stuff inspires me. Other people's workplaces. Mine will never look like either one of you guys.
One more thing I wanted to mention. So I mentioned last week that I'd gotten the Neo Matrix Hot Toys figure, and I hadn't opened it, and I opened it, and that is probably my favorite one in the collection.
Oh yeah,
that thing is amazing. I mean, you can pose it so well. The cape is wired, but it's not a heavy wire, so you can get some motion out of it, but it's not like woo,
right.
up and over. And it's armed to the teeth. The head sculpt's amazing, and it's literally a guy in a black outfit, but it's striking.
And he's got shades on, right? Can you take the shades off?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
They just kind of sit in his face. So they've shown an Agent Smith. That is nice, but I want a Trinity, and I want a
Lawrence.
I want a Lawrence, which he was at the Sideshow Studios recently. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that.
So it made me think.
Yeah.
Are they going to do something with that? So
I hope so. Well, for you anyway.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I'll probably get a Goliath for the Marvel line.
You might. And I will tell you that there is, damn you enabling motherfuckers, there's a quarter scale statue that I am very close to investing in.
Yeah, the Bane one.
The Bane one. I mean, that thing is, it's 14 easy payments of $85.
That's not terrible.
I know, and it's like it's $1,100 for the standard, which is with him holding his harness,
and that's
like he
Prime.
does.
That's Prime 1?
It's Prime 1.
Well, what's it called carries Prime 1?
Sideshow? Mm-hmm. I mean, Prime 1, this is directly from Prime 1.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying.
I don't know. I haven't even looked at
You might want to check the payment plans to see if it makes more sense or less sense.
It may. So then they have a deluxe version where he's got his arms out. But, how are you going to, I don't know, that's going to be huge anyways, and then he's got his arms spread out. You have to clear out half the basement.
You have to think about where you're going to put it.
Exactly.
I've been looking at a lot of quarter scale stuff myself here recently, but I'm trying to think about it in terms of what I want to display and how I want to display it.
I've been thinking a lot about that exact thing because I'm like, do I really need all these 6-inch figures on display? I enjoy them. I enjoy messing with them, but do I need, 4 bookshelves full of these figures?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me neither. I kind of want it to be like, I kind of want to match. I just don't know if I have the logistic space to do it.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to match whatever I've done with my Star Wars stuff. Mm-hmm. I want that for everything. Like, I want my Marvel stuff to be this hodgepodge. I want my DC stuff to be this hodgepodge.
So you're talking about the way you have your display with the ships and the...
Correct. Like just this mix of different scales.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the room to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously not to the same size.
Right.
But I am putting some serious thought into it. And I'm not taking it lightly.
I've had a couple conversations with people recently about what the fuck are we doing with our lives? Just
Energon Addict?
No,
I had a conversation with him recently.
Actually, I did have a conversation with him around that, but a couple other people, Gort and I had a conversation. It wasn't necessarily about that. But he's like, "How did you know when it was time to be done with Transformers?" He said, "I've never asked you before." We talked a little bit. Another guy hit me up. We were just kind of bullshitting, and he said, "I got to get in this basement and do, make it. I can walk." I'm like, "Yeah." I kind of am on that same vibe too.
Yeah, you have a lot more potential space. I
do.
I'm just kind of at capacity.
Yeah,
and it's just because I have so many toes and so many pots. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot to.
So your feet are so wide you can get in like a bunch of pots, right?
Yeah, well, actually only one or two.
Did we lose our ride?
Oh, I guess so. It says call failure.
Oh,
so that's that.
Just you and I.
Let me see here. So like I'm thinking about like, man, like for instance, my Transformer 1, like if I move that Calyx or Balix or whatever the fuck it is, you know what I mean? Like I can't keep track of all this shit, but if I move that to the middle, you know, and then sort the other ones down, and then in that middle one, do I put some of the bigger stuff, and then, you know, maybe get like the Imaginarium Art Grimlock, the Imaginarium Art Soundwave, like those are
great pieces.
You know, and those are probably like my two favorite mainstream kind of Transformers. You know, like my favorite is Dead End, but they're never going to do a fucking Dead End. You know what I mean? It's like they're never going to do a fucking Two Tubes. But like, you know, and had that as like this middle kind of, you know, acts like power piece,
right?
You know, and then,
so it's you focus on
and then the figures kind of flank it on the side. And I'm also thinking like, man, where I have my combiners, like, what if I moved my 5 figures for those combiners to stand in front? How does that look? Does that save me space on the shelf that could be, you know, something else?
So have them like in front of the build they could stall. Okay, that's an interesting take.
You know, so there's a lot of stuff I'm kind of considering and thinking about in terms of rearranging. I've actually already started in here a little bit, but you know, I don't know. It's a lot to think about because I want to be as happy with everything as I am with this room and the Star Wars area. And even the Star Wars area I'm not 100% happy with, but I'm more happy with it than the other stuff. So
I think the barge will get you happy.
Yeah, the barge should be here in a week or two.
Oh man, shipping notice.
I think it ships in a week or two, to be fair.
Is it shipping? Are they bringing them over and then shipping them, or are they shipping them from? I'm sure they have containers coming.
Yeah, they have to because those things are fucking big, so to speak. Let's get into some notes. It's a shame that Adam isn't here because some of this stuff I'm sure that he would want to jump all over, honestly. Fuck me. Okay. So, bring on the Jigglypuffs. There was a new Pokemon trailer. Did you
for Detective Pikachu?
Yeah,
I saw like the Instagram trailer.
I watched it. It looks like there's gonna be a lot. I mean, like I don't know shit about Pokemon really. I mean, I know a little bit, maybe more than a layman, just because my kids are always talking about it and watching it.
Same,
but it seems like there's a lot of them. You know, like you know, it's all like I played it for my kids. And like, oh, Mewtwo. Oh, you know, Phaleon, Geleon. You know, like I'm like, whoa.
Well, I do need to cop to something. So back in 97, 98, when that was on, you know, when it first came out to the States, I was working in the video rental business, and we had all the tapes with the episodes. I watched it all. Just because I just thought it was neat. I mean, I didn't get into the card game.
Dog fighting for adults, I guess.
I guess. I mean, my kids play. Mason plays.
Or kids. Dog fighting or kids. Really.
Mason's played every game. Literally, I think he's gone back and played like the what do they call it? I don't know. Basically, where you take a game and you put it on your computer. I don't remember what they call that, but and you know, my little kids love Pokemon too. So I mean, it's kind of been in my life for like 20 years or however long it's been out in some capacity.
Kind of got into it. I mean, they were into it. Jaina was into it years ago.
Your kids and my kids are kind of the same, but your kids go hard on stuff. They're bam. It's Pokemon.
That's
time.
It. Everything. 100%. Yeah. And then they'll fall out of it. You know.
So I'll tell a little funny story on my daughter. So she was super into that Five Nights at Freddy's for a very long time.
Yes, I remember.
And it just kind of went away. She got into a couple other things. Well, there's a boy at school who told her that he wanted to play all the games. So all of a sudden, she's back into Five Nights at Freddy's.
I see.
What's up, Wesley?
So yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be good though. I think that Ryan Reynolds is the right choice.
It's I don't know. It's a very odd take on the whole thing for me, for him to be talking and addicted to coffee, and I don't know.
I do like him laying down and hitting the pika pika like that.
I have to watch the whole. I haven't watched the whole thing. I just saw like the cool Instagram teaser for it.
And then there's this Netflix drama. I mean, this Rotten Tomatoes drama, which we had to jump into with both feet. So look, this is the news. They removed their rating system for films. Or
so it's completely gone, or they're revamping it?
I think they're revamping it. They're sorting out some bugs or whatever. The Captain Marvel reviews tanked. But the word is that, like, I don't know the numbers, but 2,000 people saw it. 3,000 people reviewed it. So, hey, baby.
Could I get a popsicle?
For your snack, you can have a popsicle. You have to eat it in the kitchen, and you have to make sure that everything is clean, including your hands, your face, and the place where you were eating, and I want it over a plate. Okay? I feel like that might be a mistake. But, and all the reviews were negative. Now, this is coming off of the back of her making some comment that offended the white male community.
I heard
Which I don't think is a community at all, by the way.
I heard just
I don't feel any
about
kinship with white men.
Thanks.
Like, I don't walk into a room and be like, white guys, my people.
What's up, fellas?
I don't feel like there's anything that sets us on the same path. Like when I go to Walmart or I go to Target, I don't see white men and just assume we're part of the same community.
Well, when I say "What's up, party people," that's exactly what I'm saying. No, I kid.
But I don't think there is a white community. Like, I don't think that's a thing.
You could say there's no such thing as any color community because people. I mean,
I think that there is a black community. Let me say this. So, like, I work with a.
Don't we have somebody we can call about this?
Yes. But I work with a black guy. He's my supervisor.
Okay.
Awesome guy, and he will like say what's up to like another black person. Like if we're out on the street, like we'll walk past 5 people and he won't say what's up to, and then he'll say what's up to it. You know, they're all equally.
Have you ever asked him about it?
I know. I joke with them about it.
Okay.
So I think there is some sort of like kinship there, or for some, you know, like it is a thing. But like I never do that. Like I never like say like just like see a white person and be like, oh yeah, time to say hello or good morning. Like I say good morning to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm big on sort of home training and manners and that sort of thing. But
lost art, by the way.
I think that so the only reason why I said all this is to say that when they offended the white male community, that it's not really a thing, that there's not really a real thing to offend. There's just some people that get very upset about it.
So if you go back, I believe a couple episodes of this show, we had a very interesting conversation about being offended.
Yes.
What did she say? Because I guarantee you it wouldn't offend me. You know what did offend me? Her fucking feet.
Yeah, they were bad.
Oh my God. Did she not have a stylist for that?
So I think it was something along the lines of she's been doing this press run for Captain Marvel, and she's noticed that the people that she's been doing the interviews with have not been a diverse group of people.
So it's been a bunch of white dudes?
Yeah. Now, I don't know. I haven't read the quote. I think that the media framed it as there's too many white men in media. I don't think she said that. And I'm not jumping to her defense either. I don't know, you know. But even let's say that she did say that. I don't think she said that, but let's say that she did say that. I still don't care.
I don't either. I don't care at all.
It doesn't bother me. I don't take offense to it. It doesn't. Fuck.
If that's the truth, then that's the truth, and I don't care.
And like if it bothers you, I'm sorry it bothers you. It doesn't bother me that it may be true, and it doesn't bother me if it weren't true. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't bother me equally, but there is this movement behind it, right? And the first time that we saw it was the first time that we saw it sort of in action. It was with The Last Jedi. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of people that said that Disney's shutting down Rotten Tomatoes and they're working behind the scenes to make it all a thing. And like the truth is like they didn't do it with Last Jedi. Same people.
Yeah.
Same people in charge. So why are they doing it now? Like I think it's just that the numbers don't make sense. I think there's a lot of people like when you start looking into that situation, and people get upset when you have this conversation, but it's a real fucking conversation, and sometimes facts fucking hurt.
Sure.
But when you start looking at the media push behind and not people that were critical of Last Jedi, that's neither here nor there, but people that are critical of it because too many female leads and Rose Tico and not because they're upset with that character plot, but that they're just like, oh, of course she gets a role because she's Asian and female and that sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
The
that was like they basically ran her off the internet, right?
Yeah,
young lady.
Yeah, off the Instagram or Twitter or both.
That's the entire internet.
That's true. So the thing is that there's people behind that push that were exposed, like that it did come out. Like they don't give a shit about Star Wars.
Right.
They have a political agenda, and they're pushing this political agenda. And a lot of people, I think, signed on to that because I think some people do have these insecurities or whatever it is that they sign on to, that it bothers them that this is the way it is.
And somebody was talking about me.
Right. So they,
in very broad strokes.
So they latched on, and it became a movement. Like Star Wars is dead on YouTube. It's dead. It's hard as hell to find anything positive about Star Wars on YouTube. Like it is a lost cause. And I'll be honest with you, like all cards on the table, I was going to try to make a push. When I did that, the Luke Skywalker video, in my mind, that was one of many, and I was going to make a push. But that video was tweeted at Ryan Johnson, who I stick to this day as one of my favorite people who's ever touched that franchise.
Okay.
And it was tweeted, like I went, because I'm tagged in it, you know, and so I went and looked at it a couple of days later because I don't get on Twitter like that.
Right.
And I was scrolling through, and like he didn't acknowledge it at all. But afterwards, you could see all these negative people that he had acknowledged. And something switched for me in my head that was just like, well, if this dude doesn't give a fuck about the positivity and only wants to fucking address the negativity, then this is not my girl to save. You know, like...
Right. Well, it I don't know, man. It's almost like I think people would rather react to a negative situation than a positive one.
I think that's true.
Just people in general. I think that, especially if that's the direction of the bandwagon. I mean, like I directed this movie that, look, you changed my mind about that movie. I'll wholeheartedly say, I felt the way about it, and I watched your video, and I said, I'm going to watch it again with that in mind, and it's not my favorite Star Wars film,
right?
But
I
find it enjoyable now.
Right.
Looking at it from a different perspective. So, and that's something hard to do, and I'll give you credit for that, to change somebody's mind about something. So kudos to you for that. But
well, it also takes a person be willing to be open minded about it. Like
sure.
That's a road that's met in the middle.
Exactly, it is. But for the director of the film to not even glance at the positivity you were bringing to the situation, but respond. No, you said responding. Was he responding with excuses or
no, just like not like snarkiness or whatever. Like, but it could have been like, dude, I'm sorry you feel that way. It could have been just that. But my issue, not my issue, but like my thing is, it's like, man, like you're not accentuating the positive in this own thing that you're touching. That you're the creator of this right now, and you're not accentuating the positive. And just so everybody's clear, it's not like it was my video. Like I went back through this dude's tweets and I couldn't find any responses that he was making towards positive shit.
You think he gave up at a certain point?
I think it's probably hard. Like I've been attacked by a handful of people, and I know that it's like, I've been like, it might be like 10, 20 people, but it feels like the world is against you. Right. So you amplify that to millions of people, and I'm sure it's fucking devastating. I'm sure it fucking there's no way you can come out of that unscathed unless you have a really healthy mental mind state. And I know that I do not. So but and then that article came out, that weaponizing hate, and there's like a longer extension of that because I was just talking to New York Mike about it recently, and like about
what up, Mike,
and about how the first the flashpoint of where a lot of the trying to keep the white man down, or sometimes it had anything to do with race, just the man, we live in women are going to do fucking everything now. But like,
I'm fine with that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
I don't care.
When they started that shit, they traced it back to like the first, like the ignition source were Russian bots. Yeah. And like then they traced that to like other controversial things. And like there's this like kind of tinfoil hat theory that like, there's some Russian shit going on, and I don't know. I'm just regurgitating this information, but like they're taking things that they feel are charged in American culture at the moment. Sexism, racism, blah 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 blah.
Just lighting a fire under the
and
pot.
they're lighting a fire under the pot.
Or those pots you have your toes in.
And yeah, well, only one.
Hot
Only
feet.
1 foot fits. But then people are taking that and running with it.
Yeah.
So like when they expose, I can
It's
never.
almost like Inception. It really is.
Correct. And like I can't remember this dude's name, but like this one YouTube there was like at the forefront of all this hate Star Wars shit because Disney is keeping the white man down. Like when that shit was exposed, like he didn't have any connection to Star Wars whatsoever, but they've had all this connection, all this political, shit that was in that same vein. And like that shit pisses me off because like you're using my love to spark hate in a fucking, you know what I mean? Like that,
It is.
like it and like I don't necessarily care what that dude's political views are either way. But I get irritated when it's weaponizing my fucking passions to do so. Like,
Right.
leave my shit the fuck out of it. Have you fight your war? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't care. But
Well, the last thing I'll say about this is I could give a shit about a Rotten Tomatoes score on anything. If I want to see it, I'm going to go see it.
yeah, well, I found it interesting because I just saw that Umbrella Academy got 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. And
So they're doing TV series. I didn't know TV series.
yeah, I
were
just
on
saw an article. No, I didn't read the article. So to be fair, I didn't know. I just saw the headline, as I scrolled.
there. Number 7 will blow your mind.
But I will read this little bit of news. It's a fucking screen rant. I'm sure these are nice people, but they are fucking clickbaiters.
Oh man, a lot of the sources that we use on here, I read the articles and it's like, ugh.
So look, so it
What
says,
was
so actually, all right. So Rotten Tomatoes has taken a step in battling movie trolling by removing audience scores and comments before a movie is released.
Well, no shit. That's a no-brainer.
Right. The move comes after the site got inundated by negative reviews for Captain Marvel, a film that has not yet premiered. Rotten Tomatoes users respond negatively to comments made by Captain Marvel star who asked for more diversity on her press tour, as well as spoke about feminism in the movie.
And her feet.
In response, these angry, why don't you fight that cause?
She needs to get a angle grinder and take care of them toenails.
Or at the very least, closed-toe shoes.
Oh my gosh.
Since then, the trolling has continued. Most recently, some disgruntled Star Wars fans took to the site to begin review bombing Star Wars Episode 9. So, like, yeah, I'm with you, Netflix. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, like, fucking ban that shit. Like,
Yeah, that's dumb. I mean, I don't know why they would have that anyways. I mean, the only time you should do is like didn't Aquaman, before it was above water. They did like a early. You went and saw it like an Amazon.
Yeah, the
early,
Amazon-
and like the Bumblebee.
open it up. Yeah,
open it up when people have actually seen
Correct.
it. But like this is, I guess it's a worldwide premiere. We're going next Thursday.
yeah.
At that point, open it up Thursday at
Midnight or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think that, like, see, people will take this and then they'll use this for their political beliefs as well. And, like, I want to be crystal clear, like, and I'm not saying this is a positive, but I don't give a fuck about politics. It's just not something that interests me. Like, I understand that it affects my life, that it's irresponsible for me not to care more. I get all of those things, and yet I still don't care. I care when my tax return is trash. I care about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you?
No. We actually shifting gears a second. My wife does her taxes, and she's very thorough. She literally spent 10 hours doing her taxes the other day. Did it in one lick. There's one particular thing involving my mileage for work that we have historically done, and I had to gather a bunch of data from several sources and get this to her. She gets it all ready to go and clicks the button, and we're sorry, this deduction is no longer allowed.
Correct.
So they took It was almost like, why don't they tell you up front? But anyways, yeah, tax law sucks right now.
Yeah. So like that shit. Like yeah. Now I'm not politically motivated, but get your fucking like, dude. There's people like I have to get that $100.85 back to Adam immediately when I find out that he's like not that he's been holding on to it, but that it is something that hasn't left his consciousness either per se.
Right.
So like I have to get it back to him immediately so that I can fucking breathe about it.
I
So
know.
like
I was here in the room.
So like if I'm going to sweat $100, I'm definitely going to sweat $5,000.
Right. Well, I mean,
There's people that I see that I'm like, man, I think that motherfucker owes me $10.
Well, I mean,
I'll still shake his hand, and you know, like $10. I'm not going to sweat. I'm not going to hit him about it, but like it'll pop in my mind. Like, man, I think that dude still owes me $10. So if I'm going to remember that, I'm definitely going to remember this 5,000. I remember this 5,000 for some time.
Well, keep in mind the goal of it is to be even at the end of the year. So
but I take no deductions, zero deductions. I
can't tell you how to do it.
I got 3 kids, and so here's the other thing. So like I purposefully do that because and I understand they're using my money and they're making money off my money and all that shit. I get that, but I'm willing to do that to get that little treat at the end of the year, because if I get it during the year, I'm not setting it aside.
No, you're right, and I get that. But you know, at the end of the day, I'd rather have mine a little at a time.
Yeah, and I would rather have mine in one lump sum.
Well, there you go.
Only because we use it as a thing, like
tomato.
Like Rotten Tomatoes, But like we
just start calling it Rotten Tomatoes.
We use it as a thing, like all right, this is going to be our vacation money,
right?
You know what I mean? Like this is going to be our whatever. So
sure. Well, I get it.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm not a political person, but I don't. I get angry when I feel like people are using things that I do care about for their own shit. It's like, you know, culture vulture shit, really. I mean, is what it is.
Sure.
All right. Well, enough about that. I get in a better mood. Flixverse. So since Marvel and Netflix are washing their hands of one another, the Netflix is working on their superhero verse. Now they have this Umbrella Academy, but they have the verse,
right?
And the only reason why I bring this up, I think it's too soon to really have any sort of real conversation about this necessarily, but I wanted to read what they have planned. American Jesus series, Jupiter's Legacy, which is fucking awesome, and I didn't even realize that they had that. I think it's over there somewhere, but I didn't even realize that they had that. But that's a fucking awesome book. Is going to be a series. Huck Film Empress, which is another thing that's fucking awesome, and I have that as well. Reborn Film, Prodigy Film, and Sharky the Bounty Hunter Film.
You need to give me some books when I leave. I want to read some of this stuff.
So, I mean, I'm excited about the potential of that. I hope that it can come to fruition. I get cynical when it comes to like all this shit's coming. Like, sure. No, I'm sure it is.
Well, I'll say this about
2 people talking a fucking board meeting, and now it's like guaranteed for
fall.
Oh
yeah, somebody was like rumors.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't know this because it's hard. I mean, you can't gauge on Netflix what's successful. You can only assume that if some people are talking about the Umbrella Academy, that it's successful.
Right.
And I mean, I've talked to the people I talked to. A lot of people have watched it and have enjoyed it. I think that is very telling to what this Millarverse could do, because it's not a character common man is heard of. Like,
right.
I mean, the Umbrella Academy. I honestly
I didn't know about it.
I didn't know the comic even existed until this came out. So there's going to be a ton of people who have never heard of any of this Millar stuff, like the stuff you just mentioned, that now I'm interested in reading. So I think it's very telling that the Umbrella Academy is successful with unknown characters, and I'm sure a lot of people think it's an original, series, which it is, but not from any fiction. So I think it may be a good sign for what's to come.
Sadly, I knew more about My Chemical Romance than I did about.
Dude, that's intriguing to me. And it's funny that didn't become a mainstream thing, because that band was a pretty big deal for a while.
Yeah.
And
during that that real heavy emo era. Let's see what else we have. Just because R. Kelly got indicted, or I think I want to say 10, but this article says 4, abusing 4, at least 3 are minors, women. So
I had an R. Kelly moment this week that I was listening to Life After Death, and it didn't even register with me that was playing, and I'm like halfway through it, I'm like, sex that's sweaty and leftover spaghetti, just skip. I kind of felt a way about it.
The nice thing about that song for me is it's probably one of my least favorite songs on that double album.
It's like I've listened to that album, and I'm just in the mood to listen to it, so I put it on when I was working, and that song comes on, and it literally was halfway through before I said, fuck, this is an R. Kelly song. He's going to get a nickel off this stream or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
I was having this conversation, just a side note real quick, at work with a buddy of mine who's a big music fan, and he was like, I hate that songs are like 2 to 3 minutes now, and I was like a lot of songs are shorter, like the general song.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, it's gotten like a minute shorter, like average wise.
It's attention span.
Well, I think it's also streaming. So like,
yeah, you get paid whether it's a minute or
and if you're driving to work and you're going to listen to somebody, you're going to get more money if you hear 10 songs than you are if you do 5.
Right. So you put November Rain on repeat. Axel's only get paid twice.
Right.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Let's see. Venomous Tweets. So
Venom.
Some people get them. Some people hit them. Venom. Don't go near them.
I'm playing in a hand trick with Danica Pantrick. I'm saying an accent. Nick Cannon's fantastic.
So this dude wrote a Venom story, and there's a number of things that he kind of redid and retouched and stuff involving cancer with some of the characters and all this type of shit. But it seems like one of the things that bother people the most, unfortunately, is that they alluded to some sort of homosexual relationship between the symbiote and Eddie Brock.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this.
So I will. I'm going to read the back part of this article anyway,
so to speak.
Yeah. And it was Venom number 11 went on sale. Venom number 11 went on sale this week. Makes some major changes to the lethal protector status quo. Dylan, the young boy who Eddie Brock recently discovered is his half brother,
Dylan,
was revealed to be his actual son. Eddie also learned the Venom symbiote has been altering his memories for years, resulting in his sister and uncle, who he believed had cancer, not being real, along with Eddie's own cancer. After the box office success of Sony's Venom starring Tom Hardy, some fans have taken exception to Kate's run on the Venom comic, with Kate's references to shipping. It appears the fans who are lobbying the threats are in favor of a romantic relationship between Eddie and the symbiote, which fans ran with on social media following the film's release. So it actually might be the opposite of what the stereotype would suggest necessarily. Donnie Cates did tweet, just saw that I received multiple death injury threats over Venom number 11. Some people get them, some people hit them. So a few things. I'm not changing my plan for these characters. Threatening my life or injury to me is not the way to champion your cause. Shipping is fine, but this is insane, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just unfortunate. Like I use this Hydra cap as like my benchmark now. Like just wait till the smoke clears, like before,
right.
You know what I mean? And even if it doesn't go wrong, then just acknowledge that it's not for you. And it's,
I think that's so hard for people to say, I just don't like that.
Yeah.
They have to have such a, and I'm that way. I'm like, no, I don't like it. Mm-hmm. People just they have to have such a strong opinion about everything. Just don't. Just don't. Move the fuck on. Nah, I don't like it. Move on.
Not much for the big three, as it were, but that's it. We do have a question that we got.
I do want to bring something up real quick. So I sent you this earlier. So GTP, it's Galactic Trade Post, it's a company that made a product called Space Walls. So Space Walls are basically like Death Star walls. They sold them for 6-inch figures, like to go with the Star Wars Black Series, and they've actually done. I don't know if they've actually ever come out, but they did 3 3/4 and 12-inch ones as well. This was just an independent company doing this. It kind of got, everybody was using these walls. I had a set, actually, Bobby has them now. All of a sudden, they're an official product of Star Wars. I thought that was a very interesting.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
like it's
because I think it was just like a couple dudes doing it in Utah,
and it
originally.
Shows the proper business mindset of Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they look at a third party and they say, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, because I don't know. I know that companies they've had some problems with production, like getting stuff out in a timely manner, and I know they had a bad batch of them at one point in time. But it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. I tried to kind of rack my brain at, can I think of any other time where this has happened, where you had a third party company making something, and it's not like they're making they're not making Boba Fett figures that these are official. They're making an adjacent product,
right?
That just they co-signed it and brought it on board.
But I mean, and I think we're starting to see Hasbro branch out a little bit more, like like the 3A and Prime One and PCS has their license now. which is like pop culture statues or something. PSC, pop, some shit. But they're doing like seeker molds and shit, like statues. They're trash.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And Imaginarium Arts and Prime One XM, I think, has Prime. Like, I think they're starting Flame Toys. They're starting to
all
give
non-transformable.
All non-transformable, but they're starting to give a little. None of this shit was here 5 years ago.
No, it wasn't. But I think part of the reason we're getting that is in them seeing the adult collectible market because of third party.
I agree.
And them saying, well, we're going to get some of that money one way or another.
I agree.
And then they bring out these super high-end collectibles.
And they have great business models that some of which they're sharing licenses with. Like, you know, like the business model that they refuse to adopt is the same one they're using for their own business in regards to Marvel and Star Wars. You know, like they just like they know it's successful, but they just don't want to give up their precious.
Yeah.
You know, and the truth is that their precious isn't as precious as they may seem. Like TFCon is the biggest Transformers convention in the West, and it's a couple thousand people.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't know that it was BotCon that much bigger the last couple they did.
Well, I only went to one, but no, I think it was comparable.
I went to two. One was like, 2003 maybe. It was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was tiny. And then the next one I went to was in Lexington, Kentucky, and it was the year before the first Bay movie came out. There was a little bit more of a buzz in the room for that, but
yeah, mine was the year that the Bayverse movie came out.
But I don't remember them being any bigger than the TFCon.
No, I would say it's definitely comparable.
The DC, the Reston TFCon was by far bigger in attendance than the last BotCon.
Yeah, mine too. But like, I don't. I think Transformers is a very small but very dedicated fan base, and I think
Planet Express might disagree with you, but
you might be right. You might be right, but I think that their
Planet Steel Express, excuse me,
their lack of, or maybe just their oversight is that they can't see that other people creating their product only makes them better. You know,
right.
And Star Wars does it, DC does it, Marvel does it. Every big franchise does it, and either A, they don't believe enough in their product, or B, they're scared to not be making the best product.
Well, I mean, there's two ways to look at that. One, it's your baby, you don't want to let it go. But the other side of it is you're still going to get paid.
Right.
It's like there's two ways you can do custom T-shirts. You can, sell the shirts, order them, have them come to your house, and then ship them out, or you can put them on a website that does all that for you and just make the money on each T-shirt.
Why do you give a shit if it fails? Honestly, it doesn't.
Because you're going to get paid either way.
I'm sure that not every person that's ever had that license has been successful. I'm sure that someone somewhere did a fucking batch of fucking blankets for a kid's bedspread, and it didn't fucking work.
You can go to any Walmart or Target at any given time, and there's something Transformers probably on clearance.
Right.
I mean, you think of the battle bots are going to not be on clearance soon?
But I don't think that necessarily is indicative of the brand failing.
No, it's not.
You're not speaking to your bread and butter, I think.
I mean, nobody bats 1,000.
Right.
So,
I don't know.
Shout out to Chan, by the way, for bringing that information about the space walls to
yeah, shout out to GTP. I mean, that's fucking big, dude. That's fucking good for them.
Yep.
We did get at least one question, and I got to double check that we didn't get more. But this is from Jason, and he said, "What is the most ridiculous looking design villain in any media that is so stupid looking, despite good writing or story, that you just can't take seriously? It never works for you and ruins it for you. Keep up the good work, guys." So when this question was asked to me, the very first thing I thought of was Stiltman, which I think is the goofiest looking villain ever created.
I'm not even familiar with who that is.
Guess what company he's part of?
Oh, okay. Is it from the people that brought you Calendar Man?
No, Marvel.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think Marvel has. I think Marvel has stupid fucking villains for the most part. I think that when you have a good Marvel villain, it's more of a shocker.
So let's think this through.
Shocker.
I
didn't mean that way.
So Doctor Doom is
great.
Good. Kingpin.
Good.
Who else do you? Who is
Magneto? Magneto is their best villain.
Apocalypse.
Fine.
Like
I think
Sabretooth
is a good villain. I think Apocalypse is a good villain too. It's just that I think they've made a lot of wrong turns with him. Galactus is fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of that shit, when you compare Rogues Galleries, it's just
Oh, it's night and day.
It's night and day. And like, I mean, we had this conversation all the time. The best Marvel books are when Marvel characters fight other good Marvel characters.
You're right. Yeah, the Civil Wars and
yeah. I mean, like even the movies. Like the best ones are always when they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. Like I just don't think they have a strong rogues gallery. But Stiltman was the one that came to mind. And DC has a bunch of stupid looking villains too, but I don't think that any of I was trying to think if any of them are so bad because like this kind of came up earlier, but like one villain that like I feel like I should like more than I actually do is Poison Ivy.
Yeah, you don't like Poison Ivy?
I don't dislike her. I just don't give a shit. Like whenever she's in a book, like she's not a draw for me.
Okay. Fair enough.
That would be the best way to describe it. Like Joker's a draw for me.
Yeah.
Penguin's a draw for me. Riddler's a draw for me. Like a lot of his villains are draws, but that one is not. Yeah. It's just like
you don't find her threatening at all. Is that maybe part of it? Like you don't see the potential for her to cause any.
I think this might
ruckus.
I think this might be terrible and maybe even racist. It's the green skin. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't like. I think that like no matter how sexy she is. I never find her sexy because she's like a plant person. And,
okay.
Like...
You don't want to see what one of them vines can do?
I don't know if they've explored her psychologically enough where, like, because, like, when I was talking to Chan, she made a great point about, like, this, like, this poisonous character that also creates life. And there is something really compelling about that. And there is some, like, the dichotomy of that's fucking awesome. But, like, I don't feel like that. I feel like Chan is more talented for being able to see that in that character than the writers are when they touch that character.
I've never read a book that was focused on her. I've read a lot of books where she is a character, or it's a rogues gallery kind of story where, there's Poison Ivy.
To be fair, that's mostly mine too. But even when that is the case, I'm like, oh, how many pages is she going to be on this fucking thing before we get back to the real deal?
Right. I read, I can't remember, she played a pivotal role in something I've read recently, and I can't remember what it was, but it was I didn't.
I have to give one disclaimer: Arkham Asylum, I find her sexy.
The games,
no, that one specifically with just the red shirt. And
I think I'm gonna buy those games and play them. I've never played them.
What?
I've never had. I haven't had a system to play them. And we have Mason at the PS4.
Do it.
Yeah, I need to do that.
I think that. I think that maybe I don't find plants threatening. Like no matter what they're doing, like I just don't.
You never had nightmares about Little Shop of Horrors?
I'm just like, drop it off at my house. My wife will kill it in 2 weeks. She hasn't had a plant live longer than 2 weeks. I will kill it 100%. Kill it dead. His plants sing songs of the great murderer that is my wife when it comes to plant life.
That's good stuff.
So, I don't know. I just, she is a turn off more often than not, unfortunately. Like, I have that one, but that's her. That's the Arkham one.
Oh, that is it. Okay, I didn't. I've been eyeballing it. So he's got the
play arts,
the play arts, the green with the red,
old school scale.
Yeah, the little scale.
But that's the only one I have. Like, there's I think there's a Prime XM Studios Poison Ivy statue. One quarter.
Yeah,
where
we looked at it.
She has the mask.
I believe we looked at that on Enter the Realm.
There's like two different looks. One is like a Japanese look with like her hair is in a bun and she's in like a little kimono almost.
Maybe I haven't seen that then. I don't know.
And then the other one is like she's got an umbrella over her shoulder and she has like this like one of those like French play like drama masks in her hand, and that's fucking like that's awesome and it speaks to me on some level, but I just can't justify it because I'm like I really don't care about this character.
Right.
Animated series episodes with her in it, I'm not really interested unless it's with her and Harley.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Catwoman was a draw, like, but she's just like the only. I think I'm also annoyed because I think she's supposed to be sexy, and I don't get it. It's like the beach. Like I know that I'm supposed to enjoy the beach, but I don't, and it makes me more irritated about the beach.
I don't. If we go on a beach vacation, I don't need to be there more than 2 days.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to go to the beach for more than 2 days.
I'm happy going to the beach for like a week, but I don't need to go to the beach for any more than 20 minutes.
Yeah,
max a day.
You don't need to go 7 hours.
And I want to do something during that 20 minutes, like walk the beach or build a castle, or I don't want to just go and have a sit
and read a good book.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah, with your floppy hat on.
Yeah. What about you? Any villains that stick out to you?
Nothing really.
I mean, Mysterio's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, but I can't think of anything that just takes me out of it. I mean, if you really think about some of the
Actually, most Spider-Man villains are goofy as fuck. They're all animals.
Craven, yeah, Craven's pretty goofy. I mean, nothing's turned me off. I mean, honestly, like what comes to mind is G2 Megatron because it's just so ridiculous. But I can't really think of anything that's just completely taking me out of it.
Yeah. I don't know if we ever answered this. So what's up? This is from Mervin. He said, "What's up, NRR crew? Great show as always. Great choice adding Pinkerton to the show.
Heyo.
Enjoyed the last episode. Always great to hear you guys giving advice, even when it's one of our own, like Joe. The majority of you read the War of Jokes and Riddles story arc, and you are currently reading the Bane story arc in Batman. If you are currently reading the Bane story arc in Batman, I've noticed the rise of C&D list villains like Clock King, Firefly, the KG Beast, Kite Man, which was awesome. How he was the key in Jokes and Riddles. My question for the crew is, who's your favorite non-Rogues Gallery villain? If you have one, would you like to see more lower-level villains in comics? My personal non-Rogues villain is Killer Moth and Condiment King. I look forward to hearing your responses. Keep up the great work.
I actually have a decent answer for this. It's the Mad Hatter. And the reason why is there's literally no telling what that guy's going to do. I mean, he's almost like the Joker turned to 11, in my opinion, from what I've read.
So to me, he is like this mid-grade, like because my
mid-grade.
Well, because like I don't know, like I wouldn't consider him to be like a top tier Batman villain,
right?
But he's not Condiment King, because I don't even know who the fuck that is. Like the one that springs to mind, like I really like the ventriloquist.
I'm not familiar with him.
He has like a little wooden dummy that he.
Oh no! I got
the wooden dummy Scarface.
I do remember seeing that. I think in that. Tim Sale run, he was in that.
Yeah, and he's also like he was in the animated series and all that kind of stuff. But he's just he's a fucking loon, And I think the crazier the villain, the more I'm attracted to it when it comes to Batman specifically.
Oh, absolutely, because he's so it's the opposite.
Yeah, and yet the same.
Right.
But it is that it's a chaos to order, but they're both equally crazy.
Right.
But yeah, so that one comes to mind immediately. I mean, he's a joke now on the show, but I like the Calendar Man, and I like him especially in Long Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mentioned on here I've recently read that, and it was very interesting the way that I had only heard of his character kind of as a joke. It is a kind of a goofy. He doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to do things on special days. It's like your kids. It's the 100th day of school.
Yeah,
It's
like me cooking. But unfortunately, because I actually enjoy cooking. We got one from Sam. He said, "What is your personal golden age of comics? Can be in your lifetime or from before your time. Maybe list the time span or some titles that stuck out. For me, Image could do no wrong from 2013 to 2018. Would love to hear your thoughts, Sam. I think that you're
which Sam is this? By the way?
Sam Mead.
Okay,
Sam. I think that you're very much in good company when you make that Image comic. I think a lot of people would agree with you that they've been the most consistent comic creators for the last decade. I think that what's interesting about Image in that regard is that their general philosophy is just, if you make it and we like it, we'll put it out.
Right. I mean, that is literally how that company started, right? Yeah. So, a quick question about Image. Are any of the guys that started Image involved in it at all anymore? Todd?
Liefeld is not. Jim Lee runs DC.
Right.
Silvestri, Top Cow's its own thing.
Yeah.
But Top Cow might still be distributed through Image.
What about, I know Savage Dragon's over, but was that on Image all the way through?
Yeah, and I think that's still Image.
That book's ended. So.
But all those big, like, Tights and Flights shit with Image is dead because all that other Image shit popped. Like, Walking Dead and Saga and, like the, I got some Image books. What do I got? Outcast fucking has a fucking Showtime show and all that shit. Like, it's in Paper Girls. What do I have down here? I have Deadly Class here that I haven't read, but I'm looking forward to getting into that. So, like, I have a bunch. What else do I have? Let me just go through it. Men of Wrath, Kings, what is it? I Kill Giants, all Image books that I'm on my to read list.
Nice.
Yeah, but I guess my favorite era is probably the DC era from like the 5 years before New 52.
Okay.
Like New 52 was, I think. It sucks Adam isn't here because we had a brief conversation about New 52 earlier this week on the phone. But like the major problem with New 52 was that it was a reboot, mostly.
Mostly.
They basically said we're rebooting except for Batman and Green Lantern because they're selling the shit out of Batman and Green Lantern books. So, but within Batman, they're going to reboot a couple things here and there, and so it just got too murky, and it became impossible for a guy like me, an old dinosaur, to kind of stay on top of what everything meant to one another. But like that run where you had, Jeff Johns on Green Lantern, he was also touching Flash, all that shit leading up. I guess when Grant Morrison got involved. And Grant Morrison the shit out of it, and then it turned to New 52. That's when I began to lose interest.
Yeah,
and honestly, I can't even say that stuff is bad. I didn't understand it.
Couldn't wrap your head around it.
Yeah,
because it was so different from what you knew.
All the stuff that like their big events during that era are still some of the greatest stories to me. That like I tell people about Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis.
The ones I've read of that are really good.
Yeah, Blackest Night, Flashpoint, like those stories are fucking phenomenal, and it was all during that era. And and Jeff Johns had a lot to do with it, but then somehow it just ended up going so far left. But that is probably I was the most ravenous for comics. And to be fair, a lot of stuff was coming out quality wise under Marvel at the time too. There was this renaissance of writing. It was like when writing really came back to the forefront as like a major thing. Like Civil War kind of came out during that era. House of M kind of came out during that era.
Yeah,
and,
excellent book.
Correct. And like, so it was just this like, I don't know.
The Uncanny X-Force book.
Yeah. Like,
and that's out of print. Did you know that?
I did not. It'll come back. Yeah. They always do. Because I should have sold that fucking Infinite Crisis for fucking $900.
Yeah. For me, it would be, so probably, I really got heavy into comics when I was in high school. It was right before Image popped off. I really got heavy into comics. So we're talking about like 91 to 95 probably. I graduated in 94, so right around there.
That's same for me.
Right. So I've talked about this, and this was a little bit before then, but Jim Lee's run on the Punisher War Journal really pulled me into comics. And his work on the X-Men books, and Liefeld's New Mutant stuff, I really enjoyed that. And some of the New Mutants before that. But something else that I really enjoyed around that time was what Dark Horse did with the Aliens, Predator, and Terminator.
And RoboCop. He was often thrown in the mix too.
I didn't say RoboCop, but it was cool that they took. I guess it may have been maybe the kind of the first ones to take a movie franchise and completely flesh out some stuff. Yeah, and they did Aliens versus Predator
to turn it into a universe.
Yeah. So that was some really cool shit. They had some cool Aliens books.
I love Dark Horse's Star Wars run. Like, I don't love everything.
I know that exists, and it just totally blanked out that it even happened. I've never read any of it.
Oh, dude,
I know it's good stuff.
Some of it is phenomenal. Especially like the Clone Wars stuff that they did. Like really.
Do you have that?
Mm-hmm. Got them all right there. The white tops and white bottoms, so to speak. With I read this interview with George Lucas, or it was like some George Lucas advisor or one of his one of the people that walked around in purple cloaks,
right?
And he was saying how like George's view of the Clone War was to tell the story to lead up to the Clone War, not tell the Clone War, and then tell the story how the Clone War ends, which he basically did. But that the 3 years between films, all the EU stuff would come out and tell the Clone Wars story, and it would take the 3 years to tell it, so that you basically lived through the Clone Wars for 3 years. Was like his
through the comics,
through the comics and the novels and the video games or whatever. Because there was a video game about it. So all this other media would come out that you would consume. And it was almost like you'd be exhausted by the Clone Wars, just like these characters would be exhausted by the Clone Wars when it came back. And I don't think that was successful, but I think it's interesting.
Sure, yeah.
and the comics, the Dark Horse ones that covered that were fucking fantastic. And some of the other stuff they did too was pretty cool. But like I like a lot of that stuff. I liked like when I think back, I like that era that brought me in, same as you, like the Claremont on X-Men era.
Right.
Like a lot of those stories are still classic stories, are still the same ones that are retold, and it's because they're really good. However, the comics are not as sophisticated anymore.
Right.
So when you go back and read it, the heart of the story, the actual story that's being told is good. The dialogue's a little wonky, the narrative's a little wonky, but like the art isn't up to par.
Right.
But the story's still there. But I don't enjoy reading that shit the same way. Like I almost feel like, Claremont could tell the story of whatever, and then Geonosis, and then not Geonosis, just Genosha.
Same.
Clone Wars. I got Clone Wars on the brain.
Tomato.
That's how it's Rotten Tomato.
Right.
And like the Extinction Agenda was like a big Claremont book that covered Genosha, and it's a great story. But reading it now, it's a little unsophisticated for what my mind is used to when approaching comics. But I can go back and watch the cartoon series about Genosha and enjoy it just as much because the story's still equally as good, and it's told a little bit sophisticated isn't the right word, but it's
a better narrative.
It's just a better done. It's a better way to time is more fun, is more kind to it.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair way to put that.
But so I while I love that stuff and that's what brought me in, I can't put it in my golden era because I can't go back to it the same way. Whereas when I go back to Blackest Night, when I go back to Flashpoint, when I go back to Infinite Crisis, when I go back to Identity Crisis, it still feels great. When I go back to Batman War Drums and all that shit, like it still feels very good. Cataclysm, No Man's Land, all that stuff still feels up to date.
How I mean, with the intake you have of I mean, you just named that stack that you have over there, and you've got that Hellboy book of mine that you'll probably never read.
Nope. It's all the to-do list, and Hellboy is over here, right there.
No, I know it is. I'm just it probably gets shuffled to the bottom. No, I'm kidding.
I got two of Joe's I haven't read for like years.
How often do you come back here and it's like, I want to read this and pull something and take it upstairs or wherever you sit?
It's rare to reread.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare. It happens. It does happen. Like I might get to reread 1 or 2 books a year.
Yeah.
But I haven't reread anything in a while, mainly because I'm holding on to some of Joe's shit, and I feel fucking guilty. For holding on to it.
I've still got Adam's Kingdom Come book, by the way.
Yeah, that was during that era, and that fucking thing is. Did you read it yet?
It's on my nightstand. It's in my pile.
Like. That thing is cinematic as fuck.
Yeah, I started it. I got it out to read, and something happened, and I put it down, and just hadn't gotten back to it.
One of my favorite moments in that book. That's not a spoilery moment, but this person is trying to learn about what happened to the heroes of old in this new time, and it's like, well, Superman retired and he moved out to a farm, and Green Lantern just sort of sits in this observation tower, over top of the earth and just watches, and this one does that one and this one does that one. It's like, what about the Gothamite? And he's like, oh, his city's fine. And like it flashes to Gotham, and there's like these giant bat robots that like patrol the streets, and,
really?
he's like all broken in his cave, like has like a neck
I
collar
might read
on
that tonight,
dude. It's fucking
amazing. I might read it tonight.
I will say that one of the Achilles heel of DC is that a lot of it stands on its own mythology, and that doesn't mean that it takes away from the story, but I think it can take away from the power. So like when you turn a page and you know the mythology a little bit because you've kind of danced your way around it, you're like, oh shit. Whereas if you don't know the mythology, you might scroll to it and be like, oh, that's cool too.
Right.
Keep it moving.
Right.
And I think that's it. No Paul C question this week. I did talk to Paul earlier today because I needed some help from the community today.
Uh-oh.
And I reached out. I got a sit-down Saturday coming, hopefully this week, where I'm gonna get the tinfoil hat out.
Oh boy.
I think. Yeah. It's something that I like. It's one of those things. Like I'm kind of hesitant to do sit-down Saturdays when I can't. Like I don't need to be able to prove it, right? Like the whole thing I did with Papa Toys and all that shit. I couldn't prove it, but I know it's fucking true.
Sure.
And I can give you enough evidence for any, I think, in my opinion, any reasonable person to see that I know what the fuck I'm talking about here, that I'm not crazy. And that's the way I prefer to do business. Like when I did that one sit down Saturday about that Gundam KO company that I'm pretty sure had their fingers in some Transformers.
Yeah, I had heard that as well.
So couldn't prove it, but I'm like, I can give you enough evidence. This one I'm not sure if I can give enough evidence.
Is this something Robert brought up on Shattercast this past week?
I don't know.
Okay, about a little something.
It's not Mech Fans Toys or any of that, but yeah, they are. It is Legends based.
Interesting. Well, I'm interested to hear that because that is literally the only Transformers line I have any interest in.
Yeah, I'm and I can't prove this. And my thing is with my concern with this one is that I can't even give enough evidence where a reasonable person can see that I know what I'm talking about.
Slippery slope.
Yeah, this one is a lot of gut. My gut is telling me.
Well, I feel.
Yeah. My gut is telling me, and I have a little bit of evidence, but I don't have it all. So it's one of those things where I might be crazy today and fucking an idiot tomorrow, or I might be crazy today and a prophet tomorrow.
That is the path. I think there's lots of books written about people like that.
So we'll see. I'm excited to do it, but I just don't know if I got to look at. Sorry, Robert reached out I wanted pictures of some very specific box art. Instructions and sort of the details. I think the devil is in the details.
It always is
on this one.
It always is.
But I'm excited to do it, so hopefully it'll be good. Oh, Patreon has gotten a ton of content. I think since the last time we spoke, today is the only day that didn't get something posted. There's been something every day.
Wow.
So thank you to all the Patreon supporters. I hope that you are happy and satisfied. Nobody's really dropping off, so I'm just taking that as good news. And I have got a little bit of positive feedback here and there. It is a double-edged sword in some ways because...
You said it right.
I'm sorry. It is a double-edged sword in some ways because, like I've reviewed the SH Figuarts Obi-Wan figure, Revenge of the
on
Sith.
Patreon?
Mm-hmm. And...
with his red boots.
Yeah, they're great, by the way. And people were saying, like, you know what? Not people, but I got a little birdie here and a little birdie there saying, like, you know, now we got to pay for this or whatever. And it's like, look, I really enjoyed doing that review for one,
right?
Because I haven't done one in so long.
Well, because you don't get the traction on your channel.
Yeah, and like the thing is, it's just hard with everything that I have going on. It's really the sit down Saturday stuff, the for dummy stuff, if it teases the core stuff, the stuff that people tend to like the most. Mm-hmm. But it's also the most time consuming. So it's hard for me to justify to my family and to my other responsibilities that. Look, I need to take another 3 hours to get this done. It's only going to get 465 views, and it's going to bring back to the table for us a lump sum of 38 cents.
Right.
It's hard to justify that. Whereas on the Patreon platform, I feel like those are people that really want to know some more shit. Or
sure.
You know, so like, it's like gratifying. You know, it really is. It's the difference, I think, between performing in front of an audience of 5 that really want to see you as opposed to opening up for an audience of 2,000 where nobody wants to see you.
Yeah, and I've started creating content here in the past month or so.
That's right.
And I give you kudos for what you're doing. I mean, shout out to Dan. He's doing the editing. The one that went up today, I actually tried to edit it last night. And I'm like, it was awful. I'm like, can you do this? He's like, yeah, send it over. Yeah. So he knocked it out, but and he did a much better job than I did because it was for that Mezco Jason, so he cut in some video game footage and screams and stuff. So you know, I don't have the capacity to do that.
And all that's just a ton of work.
Oh, it is. So you know, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for his skill set, and yours is you know, you've got this down pat. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's always a work in progress, but like I know what I'm doing when I'm doing my regular shit, and when I'm not doing my regular shit, I know how to do just enough to stay out of trouble.
Yeah,
like, you know. So like,
no, you learned some tricks, you know.
Yeah, and continue to. and continue to. These For Dummies episodes, and specifically the Patreon people get to know because I do the uncut versions on Patreon, but like the editing black magic that I'm able to do on that shit audio wise, where I make this conversation seamless, even though these 2 points might have been 15 minutes apart with Robert D. foolishness. Mm-hmm. If it's one of the few times where I was like, "Fuck, I've impressed myself."
Right? Exactly.
And it's and even that stuff, like the more I do it, the quicker it becomes.
Sure.
But what did I just do? Like that fucking the Prime versus the Prime. Mm-hmm. That fucking thing took me 9 hours.
Holy shit!
And from beginning to end, and I did it over the course of 2 days, and I can't. Like when I'm doing that sort of stuff, which I wasn't doing before. It's very hard for me to justify taking another 3 hours.
Yep. No, I get it.
Shout out to all the Patreon folks. It is very much appreciated, and we should be getting new mics next month, top of next month.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah,
because I have to chase and
mic stands,
find my spot here.
Shout out to Philip, whether they be Maryland or Black. Shout out to Raul on Instagram. Shout out to Adam, of course, who had to leave, unfortunately, today. Joe KW, who I think is going to be here for the next 2 shows, but I think they're also on Thursdays, so the show might be a little late. And, of course, Dante the Destroyer, who I tried to have come out here today, but he was in therapy, and it's probably more important that he does that. And, of course, shout out to...
Just air it out.
Yeah, and he talks about it. So. And, of course, shout out to Manny, because he's been helping me out behind the scenes as well. And shout out to the Cool Table, Shattercast Uncut. I will not be on that episode this week as a spoiler. Enter the Realm, Beer and Bolters, 30K, Plastic Fanatics. I still haven't heard anything, so I don't know. And Toy Detox and Stasis Lock, Breaking the Mold, Fresh Communications, Building Up to It, and Verbally Challenged. And I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. What do? We don't have a lead off.
I'll just say tasty taint.
Tight dick player.